Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Band of Bravos, a Pathfinder 2nd Edition live play here on Twitch. Hi, I am your host and game master for the session, Jason Bulmahn. I'm the director of game design at Paizo. And before we get started here today, I'd like to toss it around the horn so everybody can introduce themselves and their characters. James, why don't we start off with you?
Yay, starting off with me. I'm James Jacobs. I'm the creative director for Pathfinder, and I'll be playing Shensen, the half-elf bard, and I will be opening all of the doors for people today.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Hey guys, I'm Maryssa Marie. I play Ilana Thistlefoot, the halfling druid, and if you can't tell by my dulcet tones, I got a hold of a microphone.
Yay! She won't kill her ears anymore! Hooray!
Upgrade! Upgrade!
3 cheers!
The budget went up by like $20. Yeah!
Yes!
Small miracles, small miracles.
Hello.
Now let's see if we can upgrade the dice roller. Next up.
Yeah.
Too
Oh
real.
boy.
Too real.
Hi. Hello. I'm Jason Keeley. I'm a Starfinder developer, and I'll be playing your Tengu swashbuckler, Roark Thunderbird. Squawk!
Sorry, I was adding a hero point to myself. Thanks for chat. I am Peyton Smith. I'm the social media producer for Paizo, and thank you all so much for coming back to the Band of Bravos. What we like to do on this stream is also have a thing of exactly what I was doing, is adding hero points over to our list. You can see in the above of our portraits here, and above Jason's, which he has special tokens, we have hero points, and you guys can help grant us hero points by using the channel points down below on the Twitch chat. The more you watch, if you're subscribed, you get even more points per basically minute and stuff that you basically watch the stream. So the more that you're watching, the more points that you will gain, and then you can help us out basically when we're in danger. But if you really just don't like us, like for some reason you don't even like Law and Bond, or maybe we're Thunderbird, Ilana, or Shensen, and you just want to see them suffer, you can grant that power to Jason Bulmahn, which he has villain points. He has 2 already. He has 2 already, which is something wrong with all of you. So with that, he is able to use those points for anything. If he just wants to blow up the world, re-roll our rolls to see if we can get a worse result, re-roll the enemy's tokens, just spawn spiders everywhere, that gives him the power to do horrific things to us or just mess with us in any way, shape, or form. Even though he already has that power, the tokens just give him an excuse now. So
Yeah.
With that,
Each token is 1 tree raiser.
Oh! I recommend you all look at the
2.
bestiary for that. No tree raisers.
I know they're unique, but 2 seems fine. All right, so thank you for that round out here, folks. Before we get started, let's do a little recap. When we last left our intrepid band of adventurers, the group of traveling performers had arrived in Good King Brightcrown's kingdom. The Goblin King was desperate to have a group of talented adventurers travel to the nearby mine, an iron mine, one of the few natural resources in his tiny, belabored kingdom. And, they thought they were there for just a simple performance, but the contract actually spelled out that they had to travel to this iron mine and clear it out from top to bottom. Well, after doing their performance, they were rudely awoken the next morning and dragged off to the mines to finish their job. They traveled into these mines only to find them filled with undead. As a matter of fact, halfway through, they encountered a ghost by the name of Grisfell, who has been accompanying them ever since. Grisfell, it seems, has inside knowledge as to what happened here and may have in some way been responsible. Turns out the fledgling necromancer came to this place to try and study this source of powerful necromancy hidden somewhere down in the deepest layers of this mine. And unfortunately, upon unearthing it, it's pretty apparent that it killed everyone here. And this happened quite some time ago. Grisfell has been trapped, attached to his skull ever since. And you have now picked up that skull and taken it with you. Your journey took you down to the very bottom level of this mine, a place called the Vault. Down in this vault, you eventually made your way into a large chamber that held this glowing crystal. After dealing with these tiny earth creatures, you fought your way into this chamber, and upon approaching the crystal, were assaulted by an amalgam of skeletons. It was a fight that nearly cost a number of people their lives, but in the end, you managed to get the cage around the crystal. And I believe, just to make sure we've got all of our terms right, the life cage is what you were putting around what was called the Elon core. Oh, thank you for the drawing there. That's very nice. So you managed to cage up the Elon core in a moment. Immediately upon doing so, its necromantic power began to fade. The skeleton eventually fell apart, and you were all able to make it out of the mine alive. Returning back to the surface, you traveled back with the king's lieutenant, or captain of the guard, Captain Halvrin, and made your way back to King Gildebrand Brightcrown's throne, where he thanked you and was overjoyed that you managed to clear out the mine. He insisted that you stay for several days while he sent some miners to go get the thing up and running. That way you could be there in time for the mine's grand reopening. That is where we left off.
Actually, didn't we leave off with you just about to give us a big pile of experience points?
That's fair. You all have earned some experience points. There are 670 experience points for each character. That gets you more than halfway to second level, but you're not quite there yet. So feel free to note that. You still need another 330 to reach second, but you're getting there. There was also a whole bunch of gear that you had retrieved from the skeleton there at the end, and I don't believe I specifically detailed that. In particular, there is a bunch of nice but relatively ordinary armor in the mix. If anyone needs a suit of plate mail or a nice chain shirt, or what else was in there? Studded leather. Those are readily available. You did manage to spend some time looking through the weapons and armor, and found that in there was a +1 short sword. Not sure if anyone has any use for that, but there is a magic short sword in there.
Ooh.
I don't need butter knives.
Well, it's a little better than a butter knife.
I mean, it's like a +1 butter knife. That means the bread goes on just a little bit
it's
smoother.
a little better. It's a letter opener.
Yeah. So, let's see. What else was in there? There was one other thing in there. Where was it? Let me check my notes.
Yeah, I already have my awesome gear, which was my hat.
Didn't you take your hat off when you moved your... I thought you took that hat off when you moved your token, and it fell onto the floor.
No, I still have it on. Don't semantics.
All right.
The other thing you found in there was a thin wand made of birch, and upon spending some time with that, you learned it to be a wand of heal, first level.
Ilana, here you go.
So benevolent. So benevolent.
Thank you.
Very useful
use
now.
It responsibly.
So that will allow you to cast heal 1 additional time per day. You can attempt to overcast by using it twice per day, but that second time there's an even 50-50 chance that the wand breaks. So, use in case of emergency. But the first time per day is free. All right. So,
Roark, did you want to take that +1 short sword, since it's a stabby type thing?
I almost said something that made me sound like Curly. Certainly. Yes, of course, Shensen. I'd gladly take it. A blade befitting my style.
Yeah. It's. I would use it myself, but it's not curved enough. It looks too straight and narrow and predictable. Not that you're straight and narrow and predictable, but it kind of like you like poking things. So I don't.
Yes,
Anyway,
yes.
stab with power.
Is this a comment
In
on
my
his
hand,
beak?
this will become. It's beak-like, the sword.
Yeah, it's fair. All right. So as we pick back up here today, a few days have passed. So all of you have been healed back up to full. All of your damage, all of your conditions and everything, all of that's gone. You're all feeling great and well rested. The Goblin King has turned out to be a rather gracious host. You have been fed a bounteous feast for the past several days. Many of the dishes contain a very large amount of pumpkin, but I mean, if you like pumpkin, it's great food.
And still no pumpkin pie, right? So like each pumpkin dish that comes out is one more, step away from potential pumpkin pie glorious.
Yeah, no pumpkin pie. They apparently don't have any nutmeg in this kingdom. However, you're starting to feel like it's starting to wear out its welcome. Yesterday, you were served a fish stew that was actually cooked inside of a pumpkin.
Interesting.
Intriguing.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was fine. It was palatable.
Yeah. I mean, it was food.
They're hosting us.
Yeah. I mean, and you've gotten to have many meals with the Goblin King, where he wants to hear all of your stories over and over and over again. And, that's been an activity.
Fine. It's been fine.
I like how you are now adding a pumpkin.
Yes, it's gross. Lordy is tired of eating nothing but pumpkins. It's been nothing but pumpkins the entire time. Pumpkin stew, pumpkin bread, pumpkin sandwiches. I am sick and tired of these pumpkins. I am a wizard of an extraordinary talent, and I demand steaks.
Those look more like dirt lemons to me than a pumpkin.
I will eat
Are you
those
sure you're not
horses.
eating? You sure you're not eating
Did
dirt
you have
lemons?
this tantrum in front of our hosts?
I'll do it.
I'm gonna assume not.
Was this in front of our gracious host, or in the privacy of our own?
I'm just
chamber?
mad in my own room. I have the room with the one with like the broken ceiling, and it's just raining one day, so it's just like my sad shower that I have inside. I'm like, and it's pumpkins this, and it's pumpkin that, and it's not, and I'm just like using illusions and stuff to think that I'm eating steak one day, just to disguise the pumpkin.
Well, the thing that really did it for you was the day where you were served a pumpkin sandwich, which literally had slices of pumpkin as the bread.
just looking, I'm just mad. I just set it on fire, but no, I'll starve instead.
I'm gonna be all diplomatic. It's like roast pumpkin is a luxury in some nations.
Oh no, yeah, it's very true. However, after having pumpkin for almost every meal for the past 3 days, even the most enthusiastic pumpkin consumers are starting to feel like it's perhaps overstaying its welcome. However,
are we starting to turn orange?
A little. It's kind of hard to say.
All right, that's enough pumpkins.
But after
balance out with carrots.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have these pumpkins been made by the famous inn from all the land called the Lord's Gourds?
No, the Lord's Gourds was written on one of the signs on the way in. You're not sure who put that graffiti there, but probably some other wayward band of adventurers. So after 3 days, the day has finally come. Everyone is dressed up in their finest. You see all the soldiers out in the yard polishing their armor and getting prepared for the procession. To lead the king's way to the mine, to celebrate the opening of the King Gildebrand Brightcrown Iron Mine, as it is to be named. And everyone seems super excited. Is there any sorts of things the group of you would like to do before you make your way out to the mine for the grand opening?
I'd like to put on like a performance to kind of celebrate the fact that the mine is opening and make sure people don't forget that we were the ones that made sure the mine was safe to open, but not in a way that looks ostentatious, more like a way that looks like accidental bragging.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Parade.
Yeah.
Do any of you? I'm kind of curious as to what you've been doing with Grisfell. He's been keeping a low profile until the guards are out of sight.
Has this skull just been hanging out in my room?
That's what I'm kind of asking. Where is he?
I assume I've like trying to commandeer the skull from Ilana or sort of. I'd like to have some discussion with Gridfall if it's fine. Okay, good, excellent. And as I've been just in the room or whatever, just hating pumpkins, I assume I've just been poring over the books, like his spell books and stuff like that, which we can get the spells for his stuff later at some point when it's more.
Most of them are higher level, actually.
Yeah, so I won't be able to do anything with them anyway. But I'm just looking through them, studying them. But I'm also going through all his journals and stuff about just necromancy in general, and just kind of asking his opinions on it. I'm like, so what happens with this? Because I'm fascinated for most of the stuff with it, but I'm not like going too far into it. But I'm just like, I'm curious, how did you do this?
Yeah, I mean, most of it, like most of the diary and whatnot, is covering like his study of the nature of life and death. And it does become clear that although he is clearly a necromancer and is bought into the necromancer lifestyle, he's not like he's not perhaps what you were taught in, the arcane college that you attended, right? Where necromancy is kind of frowned upon, and it's studied along with all the other schools of magic. But he really is kind of one of the folks who was studying the nature of life and death, and that is the school of necromancy, and wasn't necessarily in it to summon a bunch of conjure a bunch of skeletons and zombies and stuff. That wasn't his MO. So but that said, it is clear that he wasn't squeamish about like taking apart dead bodies and animating bits of flesh to see how that boundary line works. And
good.
I would like the record to show that it's been very difficult for me to sneak in when Lauren is like distracted and use prestidigitation to temporarily change the skull's color into pumpkin orange.
Just look at the skull with just Kill Bill eyes, and just a song begins to play.
Sirens go off in the distance.
It's like, no, it's valuable for now.
That's how I help party unity, I guess. This time, no guarantees next time.
We all need one villain to hate together.
Upon doing that, Grisfell kind of pops out of the skull and is like, "The hell!"
What? I didn't do it.
It's orange now.
It must be the tone of the torches. Don't worry about it.
Oh, this is awful. And then he vanishes, right? He likes to sulk. That's the one thing you've quickly come to realize. Despite being, this spooky,
spooky scary
ghost.
Skeleton.
Yeah, he sulks a lot.
Yeah, but that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think Roark's going to spend a few days writing the next show, or with help from Shensen and the others. But just sort of, I want to tell this story to whoever the next person we do this show for is going to be about a tragic wizard who turned to necromancy to resurrect his lost love.
Ooh. Are you consulting Grisfell on this, or are you just making it up?
I'm mostly making it up from what I've seen in the mines, and just but I'm using his name, and I'm using Esmeralda as the name of the lost love.
Sure.
And every once in a while, I'll poke my head in, and I'll be like, how do you feel about taking a slightly more starring role in the next show?
Grisfell is like, I'm not really much of a performer.
We'll use you, Grisfell. But I was actually speaking to Lauren here.
Lauren. Sorry.
Yes. We need you to. I'm going to need you to play a wizard. A bit of a stretch for you, I know.
But tough job, but I can do it.
Yes, you'll be the tragic villain of the piece.
Oh, I'd love playing the villains.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. You'll have accidentally conjured up some necromantic spirits who are trying to resurrect your lost. Yes, I know I'm saying this directly in front of where Grisfell can hear it.
He's not comfort.
And then, but something goes terribly wrong, and then we, the band of bravos, comes in.
Oh, I like it. I like it. I'll find some skulls handy to put on. We have a skull to put on my staff. We're perfect. Pure necromancer costume already done. I even have a black hat now.
I have to give kudos to the person in chat who said you can't spell necromancer without romance.
That could be the play name.
It's true. Yep.
Yeah, that could be the play's name.
Yeah. Aw. All right, so the couple days have flown by, and everyone is getting ready for this grand opening. As everyone gathers up, the mine is to be opened at noon, and the group of you are being gathered to make the journey out to the mine. The mine, if you recall, is only like half an hour's walk from the castle. It's not too far away. But you do have to make your way there. I like how the Goblin King is slowly getting doodled to death.
Don't judge me.
Yeah.
Doesn't he need like a goatee?
Yeah. Oh God. So moving on. Let me make sure I've got tokens here. It occurs to me that I may not have grabbed them.
That's more like a piece of rotten lettuce stuck in his teeth. Well, I guess that's fine, actually.
He was missing a tooth, so I added a tooth to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Sorry, I'm in the middle of grabbing tokens for everybody.
No, it's fine. I'm waiting
Goblin
for the art department to
mouth lettuce.
start barging into our Discord call and be like, "You're doing what?" And then just, burn us all alive. I'm waiting for it to happen. So Roark, is I haven't really quite been able to realize where you're from. I mean, I haven't seen many Tengu around and stuff like that. You perhaps would like to share any knowledge of maybe where you've been from? We never got to really talk all that much.
I guess I've been keeping it a bit under my wing for a bit because I'm planning to make it one of our great shows because the story of my origin is one. Did you know my mother was a pirate?
A pirate?
Yes, the dreaded Blackbeak of the Shackle. She was a freak. She was a free captain, and she laid my egg upon the stormy decks of her ship, the Pinion Feather, and of course that's where I gained with lightning cracking all around. That's where I gained some of my own arcane powers, and then I let out a little bit of my electric arc.
Well, very interesting.
From my bird hands.
How did you end up this far inland?
Oh, I like to travel, you see. Perhaps I'm not quite allowed back in the shackles anymore. But I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, no big deal. So
when you anger the pirate,
you're telling this tale as the procession begins to make its way out from the castle and begins to head to the mine, and the guards are kind of mind you quickly come to realize that good King Brightcrown, his royal guard is like 20, right, total. As a matter of fact, that may be the sum total of his entire militia. This kingdom is very tiny, and a handful of them stay back at the keep, and a handful accompany you, and some stay back. Oh, good lord, that's a ridiculous goatee. Or beard. I don't know what that is. So it's more like it's like he's got a piece of lettuce falling out of his face. So the journey leads out to the mine's entrance. However, as you make your way close and as the mine draws near, it becomes very clear to you that something is not right. As you get up to the mine's entrance, you see that scattered around the opening that leads into the hillside, there are pools of blood. There are the bodies of dead miners.
I'm gonna immediately look over at Lauren and say, "Did you leave necromancy on the front porch?"
No, I didn't leave any necromancy on the front porch.
Mr. Grisfellow, I say it quietly so the other people can't overhear us. Is there something else you didn't tell us about down in the mines?
Grizz is like, I don't know what's happening. And as he says that, you suddenly notice that rising up from around this makeshift, there's a platform kind of off to the left, kind of like an overseer's platform so they can keep an eye on things. There's a wagon, some barrels and stuff. You notice that there are other people here that are moving around. In fact,
It's that's not actually life. Is that life size?
No, it's just there to show you what they look like.
No, I like how every single time this happens with any Roll20 game, everyone always freaks out when the image just every time.
Oh, here he comes!
Someday a DM's gonna go, yes, that is its sign.
Coming out of the mine, you see a bunch of green-skinned humanoids. They have crude but rather effectively deadly-looking weapons at their disposal. There are a number of them, and they are apparently picking over the corpses of the miners. Let me go and populate them on the map.
I assume we're outside and stuff, right? In front of the
Yes.
Yeah, where are the rest of the people? Did we just come with a guard, or were there's like an entourage?
So, as you drew near, and the first miner that you found that was dead was actually off this map by a bit, and the guard all stopped to kind of check him out, and the king's just behind them. So they're all just off the map. The group of you made your way forward a little bit to kind of look at the greater scene of carnage, and that's when you noticed these green-skinned tusk humanoids that are overseeing and picking clean this area. And with kind of guttural roars, they look at you as you approach and draw weapons. And at this, I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative. And I think I'm going to have to go in and give everyone turns. Oh,
it's
no,
now.
you're fine.
Yeah, all you gotta do is click your token, then click initiative, and bam! No, it's a 5. I don't need to start off weak, game.
That low initiative lets you like react.
Yeah, the low initiative just ensures my demise. Exactly what it does. But I see that we have evil orcs in front of us, everyone. So prepare yourselves. I will stay safely in the back, hopefully not dying. Is that good with everyone? Good plan for the most part?
Good plan, good.
Reasonable enough.
Good.
I suppose.
Mr. Grisfell, have you seen these in the caves before? Is this completely new? You're kind of our resident expert on what comes out of there.
Oh,
remember there was an orc skeleton down there, or something that looked like
There
these.
was.
Oh, these got like fleshinated,
we'll
like
keep that.
maybe it's like reverse necromancy or something going on down there.
Reverse.
All right.
Necromancy.
Yeah, it could be. There's reverse necromancy going on. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm getting all my sheets set up here. There, I think I got them. Top of the order, Roark. You managed to seize the initiative here. It looks like the guards behind you are preparing to charge into action, but they're not moving as quickly as the rest of you. They may come onto the map as the battle progresses. But we're going to start with Roark.
Do we think we had our weapons out after seeing the first dead body?
I can, yeah. If you had the moment you saw a body, I'm going to assume that your natural inclination was to draw a weapon. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try out this new short sword, basically.
Okay.
All right. And is this fellow with the red background the leader-looking one? The tough one we saw the big image of?
There is one up on the platform who looks like he's shouting orders at the others. I'm not sure any of you speak the language.
No, I don't think so.
Do any of you speak orc?
I speak orc, actually.
Well,
Oh,
you
snap,
identify.
really?
You identify what's being said. The orc on top of the platform screams, "There's more of them! Cut them down!" as he screams to the other orcs who draw their weapons. And
Weapons
Oh,
ready,
that
boys.
really-
They're not friendly.
That clears it up.
I relay the
okay.
information.
All right.
I didn't think they were here for tea, Lorne.
Look, I've met friendly orcs before. They're not all savages, but apparently these are. Let's murder the lot of them. I don't care. Go, Roark. Teach them the ways of your pirate might.
I'll teach them the ways of dance. So I will perform for the fellow on the left here to attempt to fascinate him.
Okay.
Ooh, it's not good. I get my bird foot caught in some mud or something.
It happens to the best of us.
You do have a
It
point.
happens to the best of us. Yeah, but only the one. And I'm gonna get murdered again, as always, because I'm the frontline fighter for some reason.
You have a shield. You have a like a slab of metal on your arm, so you're nominated.
No, it's a tiny buckler. I'm gonna move up here to the orc that's directly on the platform.
Yeah, so the orc's going to have a height advantage on you there. He's about 2 feet above you.
Okay, I have not gained panache, unfortunately, from that failed roll.
Yeah?
But I will... I'll raise my shield. Raise my
All
buckler
right.
up. That's my 3 actions.
All right. You attempt to fascinate the orc, and the orc seems unimpressed. And then you charge up to the leader of the group, or what you were assuming to be the leader, and raise your buckler in defense. Next up, the orcs go. I'm going to start with this orc over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh dear.
Ilana, watch out!
The orc comes charging up to Ilana and swings this weird kind of dagger. It's like a pair of brass knuckles that it's holding on to, but there are blades coming out both sides of the handle, and just tries to like slash at you with those. So here we go.
Oh, that definitely hits.
Ooh, that is a 23.
Oh.
For maximum damage, comes up and just jams you right in the neck with this dagger.
Oh.
Blood begins spurting out. The orc kind of chuckles at your pain and wound and just and then attempts to stab you again.
I'm going down wait, -5?
That's going to be -4. So that's going to be a 17.
Oh, that just barely beats my AC of 16.
Ooh.
Take another 7 points of damage.
I am down.
Oh. Well then, Ilana, no.
I am down and unconscious. Or not unconscious.
All right. That is the first orc. The second orc will be this one. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll spend 2 actions charging up at Lorne.
No.
And we'll go ahead and swing with its final action.
That'll hit me with its 24. And why do you keep rolling max damage? Just stop it. Can I spend a hero point to tell you to screw off? Fine, I'll take the 9 points of damage.
Yeah. And that's it for its turn. And then the final of the kind of brutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which is only going to be 1 move. Actually, that's a hard corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I had to do 2. All right. So I'm only going to be able to swing once. Here it is. And that is a critical failure.
That's more like it.
The final orc comes up and swings wildly. But you know what? I don't like critical failures, so I'm going to spend one of my villain points.
No.
What?
I'm going to reroll it. Still terrible.
You still lose again.
Well, thanks, chat, for the villain point. I'll try and spend them on more impactful roles in the future. Last but not least, we have the orc up atop the platform. The orc is going to draw its weapon. It did not have it out, but it draws out this vicious, gigantic-looking, flat-bladed sword, and is going to swing it directly at Roark. Here it comes. I have a sneaky suspicion that's not enough.
Yep, that is a miss.
A 16 is not going to hit. And will spend his last action reversing the blade and swinging it back directly toward your neck. That is only a 15. I'm going to wager that's going to miss as well.
Yep, it's a miss.
Yeah, all right. Well, there we go. That is all of the orcs. They have now all gone. Ilana, it is actually, sorry, my mistake. Ilana,
Yeah, you killed her.
Is unconscious. We'll go ahead.
I am down.
Put that.
I am down and I am very small.
There we go. We'll give you a little skull icon so I remember.
There we go.
Shensen, it's going to jump straight to you then.
All right. I'm going to start singing. I'm going to use lingering composition, first of all, to expand and extend my inspired courage, or
Okay.
at least try to, which means I'm going to have to make a performance check to see how good it works.
All right.
Let's just see here. That's not bad. So
think
what?
that
I guess the
makes
DC.
I think that makes the check. Yeah.
Yay! So that means this composition song will last. Its effects will last 3 rounds. I'll start singing about how the orcs, the old parable about the orc that thought he was doing really well, but fate didn't want him to survive, and he kept failing and missing his attack rolls. And even when fate intervened, it wasn't enough to help him out because he's that awful of a fighter. And I'm definitely making sure that this orc in front of me is the target of it. I hope that he understands common. But certainly everybody else in the party understands that I'm pointing out just how much of a fail train these orcs are all, and that we have no real things to worry about, even as I continue my action to do the next 2 actions. I'm going to cast Soothe on Ilana, which will further show that the orcs just don't know what they're doing. So that'll throw 10 points of healing on you, Ilana.
Oh, thank you.
And
So was
I'm done.
is the lingering free? I forget.
The lingering composition is a free action, yes.
Yeah, all right. That's what I thought.
You throw
yeah,
it on there when you do a performance.
Yep, no worries. I was just double checking the DC, and yes, you are absolutely fine.
Hooray.
So, great. Okay. And Ilana, you are now,
I am staggering, slowly making my way to my feet.
Yay.
The blood is
Okay.
everywhere, but I'm holding in for my friends.
All right. Well, your eyes flitter open, but it is not yet your turn. You will not get to go for a bit yet. Lorne, it is now your turn. You have orcs all around you.
I've met orcs, even more civilized than you. I know some of them who are fantastic wizards, and you give them a terrible name. I slap my hands together, bring them apart, electricity starts arcing in between them, and I cast Sucking Grass at the one right beside me. That rolled like a bunch of dice. But yeah, that is a 16 to him.
A 16 will hit. And
Excellent.
the orc is wearing metal armor.
So that is 9 points of electricity damage, with additional 2 persistent electricity damage to the one at the top right of me.
And
Very
plus
good.
1 from Bard bonus.
Yeah, and plus 1 from Bard bonus. And that is a 2 action for me. And so basically I kind of tap my chest, and when the hand comes out, a magical shield comes over me. So with that, I'm like, good, swoon, hang in there, Lana. We'll try to deal with them as quickly as we can.
All right, your blast of electricity slams into the orc. At the end of the round, a pair of guards arrive in the fight.
Yay,
Yes,
guards.
there are tokens to appear.
Good.
There you go.
We're dying too quickly and we need assistance guards.
Not quite that.
Then
They're
that's
also
what-
the king's guards to make
Plot
sure
armor
the king
guards?
doesn't get killed, so that when you die, they can protect the king.
Guards.
What was that?
Plot armor guards.
Plot
Oh, you
armor.
know.
Deus
The
Ex
Maryssa said.
guards.
You gotta protect the king.
I am the king.
Plot
Protect
ex
me.
machina.
Well, what? Watch them get slaughtered in one hit.
That's
And they're the guards from the Royal Order of the Red Shirt.
these poor
Ah,
guards.
good call.
These-
Good time.
They're getting paid, several copper a day to risk their lives. They don't deserve this.
Here's 5
I probably
schmeckles
should've-
to go and die.
Wait, you're
I
getting
probably
paid
should have fantasied it up more.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward past them, though, because they are not going to get to act until their point in initiative, so there we go. That is the two of them.
Good.
At the top of the order, can I also get everyone to roll me, everyone who is conscious, which is everybody now, can you give me a perception check?
Okay.
Don't have your tokens selected when you do it, but we should be good.
23. What do I see?
That's pretty good.
Lord
Let's
got
see
you
what else everybody
17 in
else gets.
total.
Lauren, you're a copycat.
It says, hey, it's just two great minds think together.
No, you just
might
look where I
be
look.
leaving out,
Aw.
but my halfling eyes are still keen.
That's
You look where I look, you cheater.
Roark,
Yeah, you
unfortunately, got
copy it.
11.
Don't make it look the same.
Yeah. So
Rourke getting a 1 tells me there's nothing shiny to.
We're getting
Ilana,
one means
Ilana, you actually picked this out. Everybody else is kind of too focused on the fight. But from down on the ground, as you're about to, kind of pick yourself up and dust yourself off, you look over into the bushes over here, over on this part of the map. I'm not sure if you saw that. Over off to the right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
off to the right. All right,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah. Over there, somewhere in the underbrush, there is a dark form flittering from tree to tree.
Interesting.
Somewhere over there.
Over yonder.
Yep. Roark, it is your turn to act.
All right. Yes. Not knowing any of this, I'm going to perform an acrobatic move to essentially sort of, I guess, swing myself up onto the stage here and get directly
Very good.
behind the orc leader with an acrobatics check to tumble through.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm ready to clap. I'm ready to clap.
Oh, that's bad.
Ooh.
About that clapping.
You know what? That's the one I'm going to spend my point on.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right.
I'm getting ready to clap again then.
Yeah!
Oh,
Much better, much better.
That's a 26
I like that
in
double
total.
backflip that you did.
Yeah, you
Yes.
you like grab hold of the railing, pull yourself up, do a somersault over the orc, and land right behind it, and it's like, ah.
Is that a critical
With
success?
that move.
It is not a critical success, though.
Aw.
Yeah.
I don't. Unfortunately, I don't even know if that would do anything for me.
It was to
But
It would
us.
make
Um,
me
it gives
clap
me-
really, really harder. It would raise your respect point total in my special books.
Ooh, I should pay attention to that particular set of stats. Then. But that gives me panache,
It does. Yes, correct.
and with that panache, I'm going to perform a confident finisher
All right.
onto this orc. That is basically just an attack, but we will. Yay, Roark!
All right. So as soon as you're ready, go ahead and make that attack roll. There we are.
Oh, hey, you just got given another point. You could just
I
not
did just get
roll
given another
ones.
point.
Why do we always roll ones? What is wrong with this game?
Wait.
Oh, there goes the hero point.
And
Oh,
those
that
are
was not much better.
Oh, not much better.
Well,
Yeah,
I
gross.
liked your acrobatic stuff at least, though. It looked good.
However, on a miss, I still do half my sneak attack damage, or half my precision damage.
Ooh.
Okay. And your precision damage is, let's see, so it's going
6.
to take 3.
Yep, that's why it's a confident finisher.
And very confident. Yeah.
I'll
So-
do a little something.
Yeah, your blade flashes out. You spend panache. You now no longer have it. And you draw a line of blood across the orc's neck, and he like turns and looks at you with a snarl. You can tell that one of his tusks is like chipped, and the other tusk has like a stone ring on it.
A shiny ring?
No, it looks like it's made of granite.
Oh.
Unstylish.
Very, very unstylish indeed. So that is Roark's turn. Ilana is...
I do have a third action to raise my shield.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Okay. Okay. So you raise up your shield. No problem. Ilana, it is now your turn. You are prone. What would you like?
So, prone from the ground, I eyes to the right. It looks like we have company incoming. And while I'm down there, I'm going to take... Does being prone take away my 3 actions, or...
No, it just... If you want to stand up, that's going to be an action.
I don't need to stand up to be able to shoot someone from the ground, so I'm going to take my 3 actions to shoot my crossbow. At the one directly next to me, so I'm going to shoot up into his chin.
All right.
That is 16 total.
+1 from Bard.
And 17 total.
17.
Yay!
That is going to hit.
Excellent shot, Ilana.
And let's see here. That is doing, 3 points of damage?
Plus the 1, 4.
Plus the 1.
Bards. Bard. Bard.
Yes, the low droning bard really hard.
Bard.
Yes.
At this point, because he does it so much time, I might just have to make it a permanent 1 to all my stuff.
Yeah, it's fine. All right.
If you do that, then you forget about it. Then you get to add it again when I remind you.
Son of a... No, that's not how this works. All right.
So I shoot up at him from down on the ground, and once again I go, Lorne, to the right, we have something incoming.
All right. So let's see. Drawing the crossbow, loading the crossbow, firing the crossbow. So that's pretty much it.
1, 2, 3, warning.
Yeah. All right. The orcs go.
Nah, they don't have to.
No. I know they don't have to, but they're gonna.
But you know it, though. You know it.
Yeah. So we're going to start with the one over here on Lorne. It is going to swing its knuckle dagger at you. Here we go. But that is going to miss badly. It's going to swing again. Come on. No. Terrible. The orc seems after your jolt of electricity surges through it, which, by the way, that's what, a D4 persistent?
Yeah, 1d4.
Let's go ahead and roll that. That is 1 more point of damage it takes.
I feel my wizardry wrath.
And then I'm going to roll the flat check to see if it ends.
I didn't learn all this magic for the Count to be slaughtered by orcs.
And I'm going to fail, so it is still taking the persistent damage. It is like shocked and dancing, and it just can't manage to connect. The next one is attacking Shensen. Here comes the knuckle dagger. No.
That's a 15.
Another wild swing. However, the second swing is going to be a 21, which I'm going to wager is going to connect.
That will actually, yeah.
Yeah, so take 7 points of damage, Shensen.
All right.
As the knuckle dagger slices you open, and with its third and final desperate attack, that is going to be nowhere near close enough. Finally, we move to the final orc brute that is going to swing its knuckle dagger at the guard that has approached.
Ooh.
And I believe that's going to miss. It is. We'll swing again. Oh, come on. Terrible dice rolls.
Yeah, terrible dice rolls.
Comes around.
Awful.
Oh, this bodes poorly for me.
Yeah, no, it's karma is coming. The final orc brute swings 3 times at the guard that has just approached it, but misses all 3 times. And then the leader is going to spin around with his neck splitter and attempt to open you up with it. Here it comes, Roark.
I don't like the sound of neck splitter. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, but that's not going to do it. Apparently, that cut on the back of his neck is really distracting as he misses horribly.
That's a 1.
He will swing again, but the penalty is going to make that a miss as well.
Mm-hmm.
What else does he even have?
This guy's
nothing.
awful preparing Thanksgiving.
He is nothing but attack. So here comes the third.
Did you just call me a turkey, James?
No, I called him an awful person. You don't have any snood, do you? You lack a waddle and a snoot. You're very non-turkey flavored, I think.
Thank you. I've been working out.
I noticed.
I have a lore
James is
question.
desperately backpedaling that.
I do have a lore
do I get extra
question.
credit?
Can continues technically be other forms of bird, or are they struck with like the raven form?
Nope, that's it.
So
That's
that's it. Okay, I was hoping I could be a turkey tengu or something.
No,
Oh,
I was
God, no.
I was just trying to get the word snood into the stream to get bonus points with Jason.
that you do get 1 bonus XP.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Yeah. Don't spend
I
it all in
will.
one place. All right. Yeah, when you level up before everyone else, I'm going to
It's
hear no end
that's
of it.
snood power.
Yeah.
Snood power.
Yeah. All right. So, the orcs have all taken their turn, many of them snarling in frustration. It is clear that their failure to attack is truly frustrating them. Many of them are starting to foam at the lips as they try and savage you with their weapons. That is the end of their turn, though. Shensen, it is now your turn.
All right, I'm going to continue basking in the glory of that song that I sung, and it'll keep going for a bit. I am going to start chopping at this guy right up next to me that dared to hurt me, and I'm going to try to stab him with my scimitar. That seems pretty good.
All right. That is a critical hit.
All
Yes, it
right. So that, rolling the critical damage is, 16?
Nah, we double your base damage there,
Okay,
James.
that's fine.
So 7 doubled is going to be 14.
Does that include your +1,
No.
James? Does that include +1? So it's 6
Nope,
to
that was-
16. That is 16
it's 16.
damage either way.
Yay!
That is significantly different because instead of being at 1 hit point, it's dead.
Yeah, we got one.
Well done.
Yay.
You're-
Well, I'm not done yet. I'm going to turn to my left there and start and just use my swing from my scimitar to continue chopping at that guy.
And I believe this is actually going to give you a bonus.
Yep, +1.
Yeah.
That's a 20.
Well,
21.
there's a penalty. That's you still get a penalty for multiple attacks though.
Yep,
so what is that? Yeah, that's a hit.
Yep,
All right.
so that's another 6 points because it's also forceful only applies to this if I attack the same person though, correct?
I think, what is it? Sweep gives you a
I think
bonus
that's right.
on the
Yeah.
attack roll. If you attack someone else, Forceful gives you a bonus on hitting the same target. If I recall correctly.
When you attack more than once, second attack gains.
Oh, I think it might just be in general.
It's just in general. So yeah, that does
Yeah.
6 points of damage.
6, all right.
And I'm not done yet. I'm gonna stab him one last time because I'm on a roll.
But wait, there's more.
Not that much of a
that's-
roll.
Well-
the last swing just barely comes up short. The orc dodges away. It is clutching its guts that are hanging on by a thread. It looks very badly hurt, but it is still up and fighting. That is the end of Shensen's turn. Lorne.
Cool. All right. One thing I need to do me a favor, Jason, just to make me feel
Yes.
better about myself. Take the X off that orc real quick. And I want to ask you to put the X on it on a thing. So take it off real quick, and on 3, 2, 1, put it back on. Okay.
Okay.
in 3, 2, 1. Now turn it back on. Okay, I put a Wilhelm screen in there just to make me feel better. I don't know if people are able to hear it with the volume settings I have, but just think of a Wilhelm scream. All right, so
I was like, what are we doing? What's going on?
don't worry, it's for me. So
all right, that's right. Yeah.
I thought you were trying to point out like Jason forgot the ferocity ability, but and I was going to pick on you for doing the teacher. You forgot the homework, but
no. Okay, so
Thank
at this
you for
point,
reminding me that though for the rest of them.
let's just
Hey, no problem.
same team. Okay, so once more, I see the
just
orc-
trying to
Go ahead.
trying to make it so that the orcs have this false sense of security. No matter how ferocious they get, they are still cursed by fate.
It's gonna be great. We're gonna make that work from here on out. So
What else is going to be great is that I see the orcs in front of me and I see that they're a little bit close together. So I'm going to go, all right, boys, it's sucking time. To basically put my hands together, burn out, and I cast Electric Arc at the one that I damage as my source. And the other orc that is like across from all of us is close enough with the second arc. And they just have to make a reflex save.
yeah, so it's 2 points of damage. They've got a reflex save coming up here. Let's go ahead and make those. We've got a fail.
Also, if I keep doing the spell wrong, just fix me.
Peyton, you do get to add your ability modifier to the damage.
That is
Okay.
true. Yeah, it's
Okay.
right
Yeah,
there.
it's
in the
just
text.
right there.
And
Okay,
So
bard
that's
bonus.
actually
Okay.
That's actually
Yeah, and bard
6.
bonus.
Bard bonus.
So I have 18, so it's 4. So 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 damage to that.
Yeah. I'm double checking one thing here real quick. I want to make sure of something before I move forward.
Okay, as you're checking that, Ilana, are you okay? I'm casting as much lightning as possible.
I'm here.
I know
I'm
you're here.
hanging
I'm
in.
asking if you're okay.
Am I here emotionally? Am I here physically? I'll answer that later.
I need to know your physical thing. I don't care about your mindset right now. I need to know if your body's holding together.
I'm alive.
Okay, good. I'm glad you confirmed that with multiple, talkings to me. Now use the healing stick before you die.
All
Because
right,
the power gods won't be able to help us all that much if you're dead.
the orc in front of you fails his save, but is going to spend his ferocity to stay standing. Thanks, James.
Yeah, no problem, Jason.
James.
Yeah,
Same team.
The other orc fails its save, but it is not enough damage, or makes it save, so it does not take enough damage to trigger it falling to the ground. So that is both of them. What are you doing with your third action, Lauren?
My last turn is once more same thing as last time, same bat channel, casting shield.
Very good. All right. The guards are now going to go. The first guard right here is going to step forward, and he does not know that Felgris is there.
Ooh, he's haunted now.
Ooh.
He's got
Did he get like a
ectoplasm.
cold chill when he stepped up?
Mhm.
He does kind of do this like, and then is going to swing his club at the orc.
We could've used that.
Wow! That's a 20. Why does the NPCs
Critical
roll
damage.
better than us?
He walks up and brains this orc that has already spent its reaction, and that orc is now dead.
Hooray!
The guard will then spend his third and final action moving forward toward the orc up on the platform. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. All right. The other guard is going to attack the orc. That would be this guard back here. Is going to swing at the orc that is directly above Ilana. Here we go.
If he crit, I was going to get so mad.
He does hit though, and that is going to force the orc to spend its ferocity. It is still up. The guard will swing again.
Oh!
So Jason, I have a question.
Yeah.
Earlier in this adventure, it was pointed out to us that we were sent into the mine because the king's guards were incompetent and couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
I think these guys.
I'm a little
I think
Obviously, he
they're
kept
new.
the good ones back to protect himself.
Oh, all right.
Jason.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
Jason,
Yeah.
what show you running here? What's with these dice rolls? Why you doing this to me, man?
I don't know. I don't know.
Obviously,
Peyton,
somebody else wants to be the star of the show, I guess.
Yeah. The show is called Band of Guards, right?
That's right.
All right, boys, let's just let the guards
the
handle it.
Bravos.
We're gonna chill out real quick. They got clubs.
Yeah, no, it's fine. They got clubs. They're just gonna go wreck the place.
I mean, they've probably taken out their frustration. They're guarding a Goblin King. They're dealing with us.
Yeah,
We
that's
got
true.
some anger to work out.
They have a rough life. I mean, let's be honest. They spend most of their days guarding this Goblin King, so they're working out some frustrations right now. And
I'd
doing
hit
well.
that hard if I was eating pumpkins all day and got sick of life. Apparently, I can't roll that hard. So apparently, I didn't eat enough pumpkins.
yeah,
You
fair enough.
wasted all of your rage in your room. That's what the
I
tantrum
know.
did.
I
That
angrily
pumpkin
read.
looked pretty messed up.
So we are at the bottom of the round. Can everyone give me a perception check again?
Oh yeah, the forest lurker.
I can give you a solid try, and my try is a 22, and Ilana beat me. Good job, Ilana.
My keen halfling eyes. Forest looker. He's a peeping Tom.
Uh-oh. I've got a creeper.
You do have a creeper. So Ilana and Lauren, you both catch a glimpse of this shadowy form. It is still over in the bushes, but toward the end of the round, you notice that it retreats. It pulls off back deeper into the woods.
It sees the guards laying waste and went, nope,
Nope, we're out of here.
not dealing with that nonsense.
Indeed. Top of the order, Roark. You have the orc captain is in front of you. It is the only orc left standing. What do you do?
I'll shout down to my compatriots and I'll say, quit messing around with those mooks and come help me with the leader. Then
look
I will
around at the
acrobatics
dead
my way through
bodies,
his
like-
space.
Sorry, I was looking around. I was like, looking around the dead bodies. I'm like, but we did.
All right, so
Yeah, that's clapworthy.
Yeah, this is 21.
Yeah, there we go.
Roark, you spin around to the side and outmaneuver the orc captain, but that is not enough for a critical success, but it is a good check.
Sure, it's just an acrobatics tumble through, so I successfully tumble through, and gives me panache, which I will then use once again for the.
Once again,
For
for
the
the
what?
what thing? One more time.
The confident finisher move.
Ah,
There you go.
fantastic. All right, well, go ahead and make the attack roll. The orc is that is going to hit. An armor class of
Alright.
20 does hit. It is not a critical hit, but it is a solid hit. So go ahead and add your precision damage onto that.
It's not 26.
I wouldn't think so.
But
It is
but
7
could
though.
be. Oh,
7,
So that's total of 9.
9.
10.
No,
Plus one
I've added
mark.
it in. I've added it. It's all in there.
Jason, I was trying to help.
I know. But
All right.
let's do this. And for my final action, I'll raise my shield.
All right. So you spin around to the side. Your short sword, or is that your beak? No, it's the
No,
short
I'm using
sword.
the magic short sword. Yeah.
The short sword darts out, catches the orc in the side, leaving him with a ragged wound. He looks in quite a bit of pain after that. However, he is still standing. You raise your shield. Ilana, it is to you. There is but one orc left standing. You are still
All right.
prone.
I am still prone. I am still on the ground, but it seems to be treating me all right. So I am within shooting distance.
All right.
So I'm gonna do some shooting.
All right. Reload and fire.
17 hit.
I'm afraid a 17 is not enough.
I have a
I am
question.
I'm at too low of an angle, and he's too far away, and there is a Shensen in front of me and 2 guards. So
I
There's
also
so
have
many
a
that was some.
I have a quick rules quick. Does being prone help you with shooting at all?
No.
Okay, never mind.
So you fire off the crossbow, but it hits the kind of railing around the platform and just skitters off to the side, missing. You have but one action remaining, so you could reload, but you couldn't fire again.
I'm gonna use that action to stand up. Actually,
All right.
So I'm
you stand back
no
up.
longer prone, so I can get wrapped.
Fantastic. All right. The orc goes. He looks at Roark with a snarl, clutching his wounded side. He brings the neck splitter down toward your neck. And that is going to hit for 10 points of damage.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, you hear some wet cracking sound as that thing slams into you, and you're pretty sure a bone just either dislocated or cracked. I'm assuming
Well, they're hollow, you see.
Yeah, well, yeah, that explains a lot. So, are you still standing?
Oh, yes, I'm still standing.
In that case, he swings again. But I'm afraid that is only going to be a 15. I don't believe that's going to hit.
That's going to miss.
All right. And we'll try one last time, and that's not going to hit either. That is the end of the orc's turn. It looks satisfied with the grievous wound it dealt you, but is still clutching its wounded side. Shensen, it is on to you.
I am scandalized and distraught that the guards went and upstaged my critical hit with their own. So I'm going to run up there, and I'm going to say, "Don't worry, Roark, I'll save ya!" And I'll run up and I'll stab with my scimitar, and I will
got a point.
Use a hero point. Yeah, 'cause I want to be the star. I want to save him.
Ha!
So I'll spend a hero point and roll 2 better. So that's actually a 16.
16, but I am flat-footed, so that is going to hit.
Ha ha ha! All right, so that's 5 points of damage.
All right.
And then I'll use my
The orc takes the wound, but is still standing, now clutching it looks like he's now favoring the calf where your scimitar slipped up through the railing and sliced him open.
All right, I'll rattle the scimitar around in there, just stab and stab and stab, and make my 3rd attack on it.
Ooh,
which
hamstringing.
will do nothing. It'll do nothing, but it'll be noisy, and I'll be like, come on, sit on it, get stabbed, die!
Well, it suddenly got very violent. Lorne, it is your turn. Will you be able to defeat the orc before the guards go in and finish him off?
Possibly. I will not let the NPCs win. I use my reach spell ability to enhance my shocking grasp, which is my final little spell slot. Then I'm just in range to shoot that orc. So reach spell feat, that's 1 action. Then my 2 other actions is shocking grasp, be able to catapult that spell all the way over there. And let's just hope I get it.
Just within range.
No! Oh my god, I have a point. I have a point.
You have a hero point?
I have a point.
Use the
I have the point, and shocking grasp over time. That's a 17.
17 would be a miss if it weren't for the fact that he's wearing metal armor, which gives you a bonus of 1, which will make it exactly a hit. At this point, the orc spends his reaction to remain standing. Grimacing in pain, clutching his multiple wounds, the orc tenaciously hangs on to consciousness.
I'll just shake my head and, like, dude, you should have lied down. The guards are going, and bad call, dude. Bad call.
So, Lauren, you have 1 act. Oh, you do not have an action left. That's right. All right. So you are all spent.
As a free thing, can I yell at the rest of my team? Like, don't let the guards kill still. That's ours.
And on that, the guards go. The first guard is going to step up and swing his club. It's going to miss.
Plus 1 from bard bonus. Plus 1 from bard bonus.
The second swing will hit.
No. I just can we imagine me in like slow motion, just like reaching out like no.
As slow motion Baywatch run at them.
As you reach out to attempt to prevent the kill steal, unfortunately the guard's club connects and the orc captain crumbles to the ground.
Don't worry, Lauren. When we tell the story, it will be adjusted for accuracy.
The guards look about at the situation and are staring at each other in their perfectly clean uniforms.
Oh, yeah, they didn't get hit at all, did they?
No, they kind of showed up after the initial rush and then just went on mop-up detail.
Oh, I have to do something really important right now.
Yes.
I come back over to here and I cast Prestidigitation on Ilana's clothes that got dirty because she was on the ground because I want to remain good friends with the healer.
Oh, that's a good call.
Clean up that disgustingly large growing blood stain that's coming from my neck.
Yeah. You're fine. Walk it off.
Fine.
I think I'm bringing up a point that Statler said. Those guards are ripe with experience points.
Yeah, no, it's totally true.
You see what those guards do? We're ripe with their experience points.
Lauren, we're supposed to be the good influences.
It's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, they're
Just
also
mad.
very frightening.
Jason, I'm gonna like half collapse on this guard that finished off the orc because I'm wounded. I'm gonna make him sort of like carry me off the platform, and while my arm is around him, I'm just gonna whisper in his ear, and I'm gonna be like, well done, my friend. What's your name, my good man?
He's like, you collapse onto the guard, and the guard is like, the name's Bendrick. Are you okay? I'll take you back to the king.
I'll be fine. But Bendrick, I have to teach you a little something about stealing focus. Remember that you were only able to have this moment of glory thanks to the wonderful singing and performance of our bard here, yes?
Oh, the guard's like, well, we never would have done it without you. Those vicious orcs would have made quick work of us, to be sure.
Yes.
I'm gonna hobble my way over. Roark, remember, a leader is nothing without their supporting cast.
Oh, yes, of course, I know. I just want everyone to remember who the stars are.
All right, and then I'm going to take a second. Can I do a medicine check to see if I can look at his neck and see how he's doing?
Here it goes. I can hold up like a plastic sheet.
Oh, the scars are running away from your medicine check.
Get the character sheets out, boys.
Yeah. The guards seem uninterested in your medicine.
I could use the wand. Is there something I need to roll to use the wand?
No, you can just use it. It's on your spell list, so you know how to use it. So you can just go ahead and use it, and you can use the 2-action version if you're only targeting one person. But if you're going to heal multiple, you can do that as well and spend the 3-action.
And that is what I am going to do.
All right. Everybody gets back 4.
So 4 points.
Yay.
Hooray!
And I
Thank
stick
you.
the wand in my pocket for tomorrow.
Yeah. So you're able to heal people up with the wand. Yeah, and you can put it back away. That's fine.
I heard it right. It was once per day.
Yes. You
Okay.
can use it's basically 1 free heal spell per day. You can risk it and attempt to use it more than once per day, but you might destroy it in the process. So
Because
it's
we
a
know how
risk.
that's going to go if I do that, Jason.
Well, I mean, you got hero points. It's fine.
No, it's not fine. It's not.
No.
Don't you lie to me.
Okay, and then after I heal everybody up, I'm going to go investigate the very interesting peeping Tom that was over in the bush.
All right. So what happens next is the 2 guards kind of pull back, and the Goblin King kind of comes up cautiously with other guards around him and is like clutching his royal scepter, which is apparently the only weapon he has on him. And he's like, "Are they gone?" And the guards are like, "Well, I think so." Ilana, you go over to the bushes. Give me a perception check.
All right. After the height of battle, my perception is not that good.
All right.
I guess because I saw the thing as well, I'll kind of come up by her and is it okay if I try a perception check to kind of
Yeah,
help
sure.
her?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I think I saw something over here, Lana. There's something quite strange over there, and I peer inside.
So you take a look around and you don't actually see anyone. There doesn't appear to be anybody over here anymore. Whoever it was fled from the scene. You do kind of take a look around and, it's clear somebody was here. Like, there is some scuffed up dirt and whatnot here, but you can't really make out much of anything. Whoever was here kind of made off in a hurry and didn't linger. Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I will impress upon the two of you is that the figure was not tall. The figure was only maybe 3 or 4 feet tall total.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, didn't have the outline of an orc.
Oh. Is it one of your like halfling fans stalking you, Ilana?
Ooh, I mean, can I call out in halfling?
You can, yeah.
Okay, then hello? They're gone. Is anybody there? It's much safer for you and for us if you come out, please.
You kind of call out, but you don't really get a response. Meanwhile, Shensen, Roark, what are the two of you up to?
I'm over here already in the wagon, ready to be wheeled back to town because that was a tough fight. So I'm just kind of relaxing over here, but keeping an eye out for like creepers because I don't like them. I didn't see the creeper in the woods, but I'm pretty sure when you see one creeper, there's like another dozen lurking in the shadows.
Yeah, everyone knows that to be true.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Roark, what are you up to?
I would like to be talking to the king. I just want to, assure him that things are safe as far as we know, and perhaps begin negotiating for some extra
Hazard pay.
Hazard pay, exactly. Because these orcs weren't in the mine when we came here to clear them out. So this is not with our original contract.
Yeah, fair enough.
But of course, anything to keep you safe, your highness.
Fair enough. So the Goblin King. Let me go ahead and dump him on the map. There he is. He comes up, and the two guards kind of accompany him, and he kind of comes up and is like, "Well, that was a nasty bit of business." And he kind of looks around and he goes, you can see him kind of counting the bodies of the miners, of which there are like 3 here. And he's
How long does it take him to get to counting up to 3?
A moment.
He done
Got to
good.
use his fingers. One.
That looks a little bit more like a jester's hat than a crown, but
Same thing.
2.
Damn crown. All right.
it needs shiny parts. It needs to glow.
Yeah, sure. He kind of is like, "Oh, well, do you think the others are okay?" He's looking at you, Roark.
Oh, there are others inside the mine?
Well, we sent about a dozen.
Oh, well, your majesty, it appears that some orc war band has come to take over your kingdom, to attack your mine.
And it almost as if on cue, when you say that,
Oh no!
from somewhere down in the mine, you hear kind of a bunch of war chants and some hooting and some hollering that's echoing from up in the mine area.
Is that a scientific term?
Yeah, that's the scientific term for
Hooting or hollering.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's some chanting going on from deeper in the mine, and it sounds like a lot. Like, you just dealt with like 4 orcs. This sounds, and maybe it's just being echoed by the mine, but this sounds more like a dozen.
Maybe we should like push something up against that mine entrance, like a giant brick or like a giant owlbear, stuff it in there.
Might be safe to declare this mine a loss.
The king begins moving back with his guards.
Oh, does his crown like spin in the air like he runs that fast?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just woo! He's like, well, this has been a disaster, and he's kind of pointing at the mine, and he's like, I think we should probably go.
Well, we could like load this wagon up with like a bunch of like barrels filled with oil and then light it on fire and roll it down the tracks. That'd be exciting, right?
Yeah, but I mean, those crates are filled with, pickaxes and buckets, and there's this bit of oil. We didn't send crates of oil.
Pickaxes. What are those going to help us with?
Well, mining. That's what we sent them for. But yeah, I think we should probably discuss this kind of elsewhere. And the Goblin King departs along with his guards.
Wait,
yeah, on too.
That changes everything. I am going to be leaving as well. Not because I doubt our powers, but those guards were pretty helpful.
Yes, I concur on the retreating part, everyone. Let's come on, Grisfeld. Let's go. Come on, everyone else. Let us
Grisfeld, by the way,
this
did not actually make an appearance in this fight. He hid in the skull. He doesn't come out and he kind of none of the Goblin Kings or the Goblin King and none of his guards have seen him. So he kind of keeps a low profile. I just kept his
That's fine. We don't want to show off our secret special effect.
Yes, that.
Right.
So my question is, what if they follow us back to the town?
Then it's a siege. You've been a
As
siege
you
before,
See that
right?
like it's something fun.
As you posit this, you turn around and you notice that the king is on like the back of the guard captain's horse, like holding onto the guard captain, and they are bolting back towards the keep. They have left all of you in the dust.
Did we get a gold first?
Nope.
Did
No?
we get our expensive, important loot looted from the orc?
You have not taken the time to loot the bodies. If you would like to do that, you can. You have no idea how close these orcs are to the surface, but if you recall, this mine shaft is not particularly deep.
Good luck, Shensen. Get the loot. We'll meet you back in town.
Sound like a good idea. I'm gonna go back to town too.
All right. So the group of you retreats.
I forget this every time.
Back to the king graffiti.
Back to the king's audience chamber. You race back to King Brightcrown's fortress. I do want to put air quotes around that because, to be honest, it's really a ruin that he's kind of in the process of rebuilding. Like the holes in the wall just have like wooden palisade put in the gap, so that there's at least a barrier. So it's better than nothing, but it is kind of a ramshackle place. By the time you arrive, the king is on his throne, just kind of looking very worried, talking to Halvrin. It's like, well, recall all the men. And the guard captain's like, I'll get right on that. And he walks out of the room, walking past you as you enter. And he just has a very, very worried look on his face. What do you do?
It appears somebody has commandeered the mine that you wanted us to commandeer.
He's like, what did you do? I sent you to the mine. You said they were undead. What are orcs doing there?
That's a question that we have as well.
Yeah, it makes me almost wonder if the mine wasn't yours in the first place. Maybe? Who knows? I mean, do you have like documentation to prove that you own it?
Documentation?
Very well established.
I have a crown. He kind of points at his crown.
Huddle. Group huddle.
All right.
Without the king.
Yeah.
Really fast.
Huddle. Are we huddling like right
Past
in front
meeting.
of him?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I'll keep poking my head up, looking around to make sure no one's listening.
He's on his throne doing this.
Just trying to
How
listen
big
in.
were the orcs?
I mean,
Versus how big was that chamber that we were in?
I mean, they all seem pretty much the same from what I saw. I mean, orcs, I mean, they're usually kind of the same build, and these are
everything is a giant compared to me. So,
excuse me, princess.
Well,
I mean, they're no more orcs.
Not pixies. Pixies aren't bigger than you. We could go beat up some pixies.
well, I'm just wondering if mayhaps they were there first.
That's what I was wondering. You know, I'm just like, if it's an orc, who knows? I mean, it's crazy. We got a Goblin King. Anything's possible. Orc miners, guard superheroes. You know, there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on here.
Roark,
I bet Grisfell. Grisfell was probably there first, if we want to be technical about it.
Yeah, you're
well,
saying that it's Grisfell's
seen
fault.
them.
I bring up the skull in the middle of our huddle, so it's like still covered and stuff, and I kind of like look at the skull. It's like, Grisfell. I imagine he's gonna come from like his head will pop out of like his ghost head will come out of the skull. And like Grisfell, were there orcs inside of the area before you came in?
It becomes clear that he can manifest just his like face and head out of the skull, not his whole body. So his head just kind of pops out, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah, that's really kind of creepy looking.
Welcome to the team huddle, Grizz. All right,
it seemed like there was some fighting. I couldn't really see anything. I could just hear.
I mean, you were on my staff the entire time. You saw everything.
Well,
Are you absolutely sure you've never encountered any orcs in your time?
He's like, just a minute. He's like, look at the skull. Do you see any eyes? I don't see any eyes. I couldn't see anything.
You're looking at me right now, Mr. Smarty Pants.
Well, I am
Mr. Grisfell,
now.
Mr. Grisfell.
Yes.
Mr. Grisfell.
Yes.
3 times. I said your name 3 times.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not Beetlejuice. What do you want?
I couldn't hold it together.
Yeah. What do you want?
Are you absolutely, absolutely? I know you haven't been honest with us completely. There was nothing else in those caves.
Well, to find nothing. I mean, there was rocks.
Orc armies. Are there any orc armies in the caves?
Well, I mean, there were other folks who came through the caves every now and again. I don't know.
So actually, Jason, at this mine, is this like on the side of a mountain range that we don't know who lives on the other side of the mountains, or is
it's
it just
actually
like a hole in a hill?
It's actually a hole in a hill. It's calling it a mountain is a bit of a stretch. It's more like a large hill, and this mine entrance is at the base of it.
It's the King Gildebrand Brightcrown of mountains.
Yeah, kind of. It's technically a mountain, but
Huh.
So at this, you notice the king has gotten off of his throne and has kind of crept forward, kind of
Turn around. Hey, shove off. Having a meeting.
He's like, listen, I have the right to know what's going on. What are you going to do to fix this problem? You signed a contract to fix this mine.
That's what we're discussing at the moment, Your Majesty. Can I roll diplomacy to calm him down?
Sure.
Okay. Oh no, I just made him more mad. He did not like being talked down to.
I'm the king here! Listen up. Listen to me. You will all listen to me. I am the king. I have the hat, and you have all screwed this up. And it's
Lauren,
at that.
is your wizard hat taller?
It's at that you hear another voice come out of the shadows of the room. It is a voice that has a bit of a gravel to it, delicate though. And it says in almost a very soft whisper, "Yes, you have all certainly screwed this up." And emerging from the shadows is a figure cloaked in a heavy gray overcloak. And from the hem of it, you can see withdrawing into it bluish gray digits, of a hand holding onto the hem of this cloak, drawing it close. And that is where we are going to take a break. And we will pick this up right afterwards, everybody. Thank you. Stick around, and we will pick this up after a 5-minute break. There, everybody. Welcome back. So when we went on break, our heroes were in the middle of a huddle up discussing what to do about this problem, talking to Grisvel, whose ghostly head was popped out of his skull. The Goblin King was sneaking up, trying to listen in on the conversation, and getting rather irate that he was being talked down to. And it was at this moment that a mysterious form, only about 3 feet tall, came out of the shadows, cloaked in a heavy gray cloak. This kind of ashen gray figure is unknown to you. They're cloaked in shadow. You only caught a brief glimpse of the hand, which had kind of grayish flesh before it pulled back underneath the cloak. And that is where we left off. So that is where we will pick up. And the figure just said, "Yes, you've certainly screwed this all up."
Can I, just from that one glimpse of the kind of gray flesh fingers and the size, can I make a society check or something to try to figure out if this is like some sort of, what kind of creeper this is? Because I know it's a creeper. I just need to know the specific creeper quality.
Sure, yeah, you can give me a check.
What's check? Society?
Yeah, society will work.
Ooh.
Ooh.
There you go. 23.
So you're not entirely sure, but the diminutive stature, the pale colored flesh, yeah, you think you might be dealing with and you're like, no, it couldn't be. That doesn't make any sense. You might be dealing with a Sverfneblin.
Uh-oh. That's hard to say without sounding like you're saying something backwards. Sverfneblin.
Sverfneblin.
For the people like me who don't know that, what is a falafelican?
It's this creature. It's this like diminutive creature that it's really tiny, but the more that it feeds on the soul matter of like wizards and draws out their magic and empowers it gets taller and more horrifying.
Or the Lauren Stayback.
or it's some sort of like gnome that lives in the caves down underground. It's one of those two.
Yeah, I know. I get them mixed up.
Yeah.
It's either a soul-sucking lich-like creature or just,
a cave gnome.
A cave gnome.
But yeah, they don't normally stroll about upstairs like this. It's kind of unusual. They're Darklanders.
I think that the cave gnome can hear you.
As a matter of fact, the figure kind of tilts to one side. You're in the throne room, by the way, and I want to note that there is like a lot of light in here. There's like a number of tall windows, and the figure is kind of staying in the shadow. And the Goblin King immediately turns and kind of like, who the hell are you? And then kind of moves to put the group of you between him and this newcomer.
Ooh, hero move.
Yeah, it is very brave.
Power move.
Yeah.
I'm gonna step toward this mysterious figure and try to be all kind of nice and friendly and say, well, you seem to know a little bit more about our situation than we do. Maybe if you could give us a little bit of more information, we'd be happy to step in and finish the job we started. It's hard to solve a mystery when you don't have all of the pieces. And you seem like a new piece that has been introduced into this puzzle, like very late in the game.
The visitor says with kind of no lack of kind of sarcasm, I know some, but I don't know what you did. Clearly this is all your fault. Kind of looks at you with kind of a tilt, and at that you notice that the hood that is holding this figure in place is kind of very irregularly shaped, as if there are large ears under there somewhere.
So in order to calibrate the situation, let's just make sure we're talking about the same potential thing that we caused, because we went down into those mines to make sure that they were safe to be reopened for the glorious majesty of kingliness that we have just yonder.
It's Brightcrown.
I know that. I was trying to give him adjectives. So, and we got all the way down deep into the vaults and found some eerie sort of magic going on. We turned it off. We caged it. We got rid of it. And now there's like a new thing. That's like when we went in there was all skeletons and spooky stuff and like creepers and stuff. But now there's orcs, and orcs are a different flavor of creeper. So I don't know. It's just, they changed the goals on us. So what is it that you visiting little guy? What is it that you are thinking that we caused? Is it the sudden influx of orcs or what?
She says, you dealt with the undead.
Oh yes, that's what us heroes do.
We had long suspected that those of the Clawmark tribe had access to that particular mine, but they were always held at bay by the undead, as were we. Now they are not. She looks about and says, I don't suppose you could draw the curtains, could you?
Oh, absolutely. I'll go over and start drawing all the curtains, like all with panache. Not with panache, because I don't want to steal the with style and glittery glee. I don't know.
As Shensen is like manually moving the curtains, can I do like an Arcana check to magically just manipulate all the curtains closed with like a magical fling of my hand?
Maybe a little bit of a prestidigitation.
Yeah, a little bit.
So you're going around to close the curtains, and the Goblin King suddenly realizes that you're doing things, and he's like, "Yes, I order you to close the curtains. Yes, yes, yes. This is all under my control. I am here to treat with you, fair traveler. And I offer my humblest apologies for what my servants have unwittingly unleashed." And as you close up all of the curtains, the figure steps forward kind of out of the deepest gloom now, kind of into the center of the room where it's now shadowy, but it's not dark. And she draws back her hood. And there underneath you see an almost hairless gnome woman. She has very pale, kind of ashen skin. Her eyes are very large, and she stares at all of you with kind of almost a snarl is the wrong word on her face, but she has kind of a smirk. And she looks at all of you and says, "My name is Ilnoshra."
Oh, pleasure to meet you, Ilnoshra. I'm Shensen. I'll go over and extend my hand. And
she kind of looks at you really funny as you're about to go up and shake her hand. And she kind of very tentatively offers up her hand to shake. And after you're done, you notice she kind of wipes the hand off on her tunic.
Fair enough. I know where I've been. That's legit.
Yeah. And she says, I'm an scout from the Amathine Enclave.
Oh. And were you coming up from below? So, at the same point, I assume we were climbing down from above in the mine?
Our home is some distance beneath this, but we connect to the mine that you have disrupted. For long years, it has been a place filled with the dead, but they do not stray far from their halls, and those that do tend to fall to pieces after a period of time. As a result, we've kind of just left it be. It isn't something we care to deal with. Now that appears to have changed.
Well, we just wanted to go in there, and we were under contract to handle the situation, and it was a opportunity for glory. And what I'm hearing from you is that we have even greater opportunities for glory in helping an even more important society. You know, we started with a Goblin King helping out a a nation of Sverfneblin? That sounds even more enticing and exciting. That's the type of thing true stories of legendary are about. So just point us the way and we'll save the day.
The king is like, now wait a minute here. You agreed to clear out my mine.
Mighty King Brightcrown, might I make a very humble suggestion that your kingdom
maybe.
might grow stronger by parleying and creating a treaty with these mighty cave dwellers?
The orcs?
No. Well, maybe. But we're talking about the what is the name of your society?
We are a small group of Sverfneblin. We live in a place called the Amathene Enclave.
Ah, yes.
Well, the one who knows how to spell that, write that down, please.
I'm not surprised that you don't know about us. We don't venture up here very often. I had to use the old tunnels to even reach the surface. The mines are entirely overrun with orcs. It's not
And
really
we
a
do
surprise.
apologize greatly for managing to do that. We were only told of one issue, which we thought we had taken care of.
As far as I can tell, it's taken care of.
Well,
Perhaps.
obviously, there's been developments on the ground, and we're willing to continue to handle the situation as it develops. But
Wait, Shensen, listen to me. And Mr. Brightcrown, you see, Shensen, what says on the contract that we signed was to clear out the mine, and we were supposed to be paid
I don't
for
even
it.
pay attention to those contracts. That's just poppycock anyway. It's just words on
And
paper.
loyal
We're here to be heroes.
I get
technification.
Shensen the mom eyes.
Hold up. Listen to me. I'm going to get us some more money. Now, Mr. Brightcrown, we have fulfilled this contract. We have cleared out the mine. There's nothing in this document that explains to guard the mine or prevent any other external forces from inhabiting this mine. We have cleared it out for you. We have all the proof. We have brought you all the evidence from the deep inside of it. So, as far as I can tell, we have completed this contract. Now, if you would like us to continue this operations and stuff, we can form another contract with additional payment aligned with it to continue to risk our lives to save your kingdom. What do you think of that?
The Goblin King looks at you and says, I was never able to take possession of the mine. It was immediately overrun by orcs, so you didn't really clear it. You handed it over to them.
No, I didn't. We didn't. If we handed it over, technically, we would have arranged a thing with the orcs. We cleared it out. That was by your definition, by this
And
contract.
how do I know you didn't?
We brought you evidence, you fool king.
He's like, well, I don't know that I believe it. This sounds like a tale.
I
It
get
sounds like you're
really
playing us.
angry and try to do like magical effects for my eyes and stuff. And now you listen here, you small marmot. As far as I can tell, we cleared that mine. We're risking our lives to serve you. Now you're
I
going to
wiggle my
sign
way
this
between
new
the king and Lorne, and I look
Intimidation
at
check.
Lorne and I give him the mom.
hero point. Darn it! I lose. I quit.
I
guys
wiggle
run
my
the
way
stream.
between the king and Lorne, and I give him the mom eyes. Lorne,
Yes.
bring it in, bring it down. We're not on stage.
We're always on stage. The world is a stage.
You understand? You understand the
like-
travel expenses that we are in and everything else? We're down in the hole, Ilana. We can't go on for glory without getting paid.
The
I'm
king's
aware,
like, did
but
the
if we
wizard have
ever
his
want to
breakfast?
get the money that they already owed us, we might want to take a more diplomatic approach to this.
Fine.
If we want to get out of here with any money at all.
Listen. We all want the same thing. I think. He kind of leans over and looks at Ilnoshra, and she just kind of is glaring. And he's like, "Listen, we want the mine. The orcs want the mine. The Svarfnoblin want the mine."
Sverfneblin?
So she's like,
Come on.
Sverfneblin. And he's like, gotcha.
It's only 3 syllables.
Everybody wants the mine, so why don't we just share it? We can all mine it. We'll just split the money. It'll be great. There's plenty of ore there for everybody. And Ilnoshra is shaking her head, and she's like, I highly doubt it. The orcs, now that they have your mine, are unlikely to give it up, especially after bloodshed, after they lost warriors to defend it. They would view it now as theirs. Their clan, their tribe, has long been in a very sore spot down in the Forever Vault. And this mine might just be their ticket to a more prosperous future. The Goblin goes, the what now? The who? And Ilnoshra just goes, you surface folk know nothing of the worlds beneath.
Hey. We're not all goblins. Just one of us here is a goblin. The rest of us, well, maybe I look over at Lorne. Maybe some of us are goblins in spirit. But
To try to pay the bills around here.
we do want to continue to help the situation, and that's we just need to be pointed in the right direction, and we'll stab and sing our way into glory and power. And
I tug on Lorne's cloak subtly, quietly. I tug on his cloak to try and get his information. I have a terrible idea.
I like terrible ideas.
Keep your voice down. Keep your voice down. We really don't want our royal friend to be
terrible
informed
ideas.
of this. He said our Smurf. Oh God, short friend, my sized friend.
That's a terrible thing to say, but continue.
Smurf Neblin.
Our Smurf Neblin friend said that they were fear of the undead. We happen to have something that could control the undead, and there does happen to be a number of bodies strewn about.
So what you're telling me is that I get to be a necromancer?
You are going to play one. You might as well rehearse.
Good.
Grisfell went back in his skull, but suddenly the skull starts vibrating.
And the Smurf Neblin said they didn't seem to mind the undead, so perhaps we could
At that
use
she
them
pops
for
up
now.
and says, "Oh, I wouldn't say that. We just learned to tolerate them."
Tolerate is good. My thoughts is perhaps we could use them to our advantage. We have a way to control them, sort of.
Do we?
Ilnoshra says, "Well, I've learned all that I needed to learn. I shall return to my people now and inform them of the folly of the surface folk. It is as we thought."
You spoke too much.
Oh no. She's going to tell him about Lauren, isn't she?
No,
Yeah,
you
she's
have no
probably
idea.
going to tell them about Lord.
Roark, what are you doing during all of this?
I'm scheming in my head here. I'm listening to Ilana's idea, and I really think the answer is to put on a show. That's going to be my answer for just about any problem that we come across. But
That's
we
only
could
because
scare
it's the
all the
correct
orcs out.
answer.
Yes. We put on a show of undead might, and that will scare the orcs away, and there won't be too much more bloodshed. I could dress myself up as a phantom of some kind, or a zombie, and then we have our special effect, wink, squawk, and we convince those orcs that the mine is haunted once more.
I see no way this plan could backfire or fail. This is the best plan I've ever heard all day long.
Ilnoshra says, "Yes, I think you should best prepare something. The orcs will undoubtedly not be satisfied with just the mine. I expect that after a time they may in fact even make their way here, now that they have a way to the surface."
Yes.
The king
Yes,
now
we
looks
have-
very concerned and is like fidgeting with his crown, and he's like, What do you mean they'll come here? Do you think they'll want to trade?" And Ilnoshra's like, "No, probably not."
It's more like take that T word off and it's just raid is all that's left. That's more of like
I like
what they're
the
fucking doing.
Brightcrown, as
Well done.
sincere and as happy as I can be about it. It's like, no, they're not going to want the train with you. They're going to want to take everything you love and know. Everything possible. Your entire castle, your horses, your pumpkins, your crown, your clothes, everything.
They might leave the
We don't-
pumpkins. Let's be
Well, we don't-
realistic.
Yeah, you're probably.
I mean, it might be a little something different after a while. Maybe.
Is there any way we could? Excuse me, Sverf Neblin. Is there any way we can negotiate with them? And she kind of, as she's like gathering herself up, she's like, not the ones here. Most certainly not. There's no way that they'd negotiate with you. They will treat anyone who approaches as an enemy and attack you.
Well,
We ourselves have had to station many guards in our tunnels leading up to the mine just to make sure that the orcs do not overrun our territory. It is a serious problem.
I'm going to try not to giggle a little bit at the idea of mini guards and Svirfniblin being like little mini guards.
Aww.
I walk over to Miss Il Nostrum and I hold my hand out and I believe we got off on the wrong foot. Let's try this again. We have a common goal, and perhaps our current employer was not fully informed, but maybe we could work together. You seem to have more information than we do on the subject, at least. Maybe something you can give us might help us solve each other's problems.
She's like, you have nothing the orcs want. They have what they want. They have long suffered in the vaults, and this mine is their ticket to prosperity. You might be able to. She's like, no, that.
Yes.
What do you suggest we do?
There's only one way you're going to get the orcs to talk, and that is to visit their emissary.
An emissary, you say?
Yes. It's a long shot. I wouldn't. You could travel to Kobold Town. If you travel to
doubt us, you may.
If you travel to Kobold Town, you could speak with the orc emissary. There, at least they would speak with you.
Wait, Kobold Town?
Yes.
There's orcs in Kobold Town.
Yes. Kobold Town is the only place where all of us share fairly.
Are there kobolds in Kobold Town?
Yes. I mean, she's like, yes, that's why it's called Kobold Town. It's mostly kobolds. But the rest of us go there to trade and share information.
All right.
You could make the journey there. If you went to Kobold Town and spoke with the orc emissary there, you might be able to get them to talk about the mine. But if you approach the mine, they will slaughter you. I cannot imagine that after the blood that has been spilled, they will be willing to speak with you on such terms.
I am eager and excited to go to Kobold Town.
I give her a deep curtsy and thank you. That has been most informative.
Yeah, it's weird working for somebody that gives us information.
Is Kobold Town underground? Yes.
Yes. I don't like being up here, to be honest with you. The ceiling is too high. I dislike it immensely. But
I have a question. Do any of us even know where Kobold Town is?
Is there a skill check I could make to know that?
No.
Or a nature check?
You've never.
I've wandered quite a bit before I joined up the Band of Bravos. Could I make a nature check?
So, ultimately, just to keep things moving along, none of you have heard of Kobold Town before. It's not like a giant place that is on maps. Wherever it is, it's somewhere deep underground, and it's some sort of community, apparently, of kobolds. Il Nostra is when you ask, she's like, it is not a vast place, but it is the one place where all of us speak on mostly civil terms.
I want to go there because it sounds glorious and strange and unusual, and it's a town, and towns are better places to put on shows and make money than run down old, barely standing, glorious palaces like this.
Brightcrown's like, hey, watch it.
Lord Brightcrown.
Yes.
Mayhaps we could be your diplomats or emissaries and go make peace.
Indeed. I shall deputize you as emissaries of King Brightcrown. And he snaps his fingers, and one of his servants goes running off to grab a roll of parchment and a quill. And within moments, he's drafting up this flowery document that declares you his royal emissaries. And he's like, since I live above this sprawling cave, he looks at Il Nostra, and Il Nostra is like, I too am part of this community, and these shall be my emissaries. Is that how this works? And she's like,
I give him a very deep curtsy to please him.
Now, only one of you can be the emissary. Which one should it be?
I'm already there, and I'm grabbing the quill, and I'm ready to sign all over that thing.
Shensen, you signing things all over is what got us this marvelous gig.
Plus one, this magic sword, and that one of healing. Yeah, we got all stuff. I'm already signing this thing. all fancy. Like, I'm writing in Elven, so it looks all official.
Ooh.
I share look.
He's like, very well. And the rest of you shall be Shensen's coterie. Yes. And yeah. All right. So I shall send you to this kobold town to treat with the orcs and come up with fair terms by which we might share this mine instead of having them overrun my kingdom. That seems reasonable, right?
I suppose.
And I'll double your pay.
If you can even pay it.
I do believe that is very fair.
Has he paid us yet?
No.
We might need something up front for travel expenses.
Yeah, double and nothing is still nothing.
He did pay you I believe he paid you 100 gold as your down payment, if I recall correctly.
Lorne.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You took all that money, Lorne.
Yeah. It's all in the Band of Bravo's bank for our expenses.
It's in the Bank of Bravos.
Yeah, the Bank of Bravos.
Oh, quiet. Do you want to get sued?
I said that, I was like, yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that's a thing. So...
well, anyway, I've already signed this thing, so that kind of means we have to do things, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess. Il Nostra says, well, if you're intent, I can at least take you to the Amathine Enclave. From there, you can make your way to Kobold Town.
I am so down with Kobold Town. There's going to be dancing. Ooh, kobolds make really good dance partners because they're full of energy and they can stand on each other's shoulders, and they're colorful. They're like, some are blue, some are black, some are white, some are red, some are green.
Excellent.
It would be nice to be amongst those of more appropriate stature once again.
Oh yeah, that's.
I see.
Il Nostra's like, yes, you'll do quite well though.
I see that we're off to another adventure, everyone. I assume we'll go ahead and get our gear together. Let's get some lanterns, maybe some rope here and there. Get all of our things sorted. And Lord Brightcrown, Your Majesty, do you have an alchemist or anyone of some sort so we can purvey and, some additional, healing components?
The Goblin King's like, I still have an ad out for an alchemist. The last one who was here sold me some potions that didn't work very well, so I want a better alchemist to
I see.
to come through. Yeah, the last one, those didn't work very well. So I'm on the lookout for a better alchemist. But no one's filled the role yet.
I see. I'm sorry that you had to deal with such terrible alchemy in your area. We'll figure something out.
He's like, that's okay. I gave him the most broke down horse I had, so and the suckers took it. It was great.
Oh, that's hilarious, buddy. We're gonna get along very well, I feel. Okay, so
yeah, it's fine.
So that I guess I assume we all just gonna start packing stuff up and getting ready to go.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm ready to go right now. I just have my sword and my fancy clothes and my will to be glorious.
Yeah, my will to be glorious is important.
Yeah.
So I'm wagering most of you didn't bring every piece of gear you have out to the opening ceremony because you expected to come back and be feasted and everything. So you do probably have to go back and pick up like personal effects and stuff like that if you don't want to leave them here. I mean, you can. It's up to you.
Oh, no. I'll go get it. I need my violin and my soap.
And I also like to note that the giant evil necromancy crystal thing, I assume we as a team at some point in time buried it like under a tree or something that no one ever goes to and covered some things with rocks.
Yeah, I mean, you did have a few days, so if you wanted to go hide it somewhere, you totally could. If that's the answer, I'm fine with that. You should just decide. So if anybody wants to posit something different, now's your chance.
I'm not sure what would happen if we brought it back into the mine.
Yeah.
We're not going necessarily into that part of the mine, right? We're going to a different underground area.
Whole different path, I imagine. And that thing's giant and heavy, and I just don't want us to be lugging that thing around.
It's going to be dangerous either way, whether we bring it or not.
Yeah.
I'd rather leave it up here, and so if a siege happens, they would have to find it in some weird way, in some arbitrary section.
Or if something happens in the mine and suddenly we just have a whole underground full of zombies.
Yeah, I'd rather leave it upstairs to let the king deal with it.
So you're leaving it with the king?
I'm leaving it underground in his lands.
Oh.
I'm burying that thing under a strategically like knowledgeable tree that's like so out of the way that no one ever would go there.
Remember when Lorne helped enable the giant undead king tyrant of Treant land?
It's
fine.
Wait,
no, that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, no,
quite a story.
It's like I'm knowledgeable of trees.
Okay. So you can find a tree that's kind of out of the way. It's not in the middle of like some farmer's field where they're going to accidentally dig it up and be like, "I am a necromancer farmer."
It was in a pumpkin.
Yeah.
It was in a pumpkin the whole time.
I'm thinking of a leshy pumpkin, just as a necromancer.
But the pumpkin's all rotted and awful.
Yeah, it's all just terrible. It's just
like a November jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, it's a November jack-o'-lantern, exactly. So you managed to hide it and take care of that. Ilnoshra is looking like she's pretty eager to get out of here. She's like, well, if we're going to go, I'd like to go as soon as possible. I don't like being up here on the surface. Makes me uncomfortable.
We just need to collect our things and go. We can go.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, I'm good with this. Let us go, everyone.
Well, I'm going to have to lead you to a secret place where our entrance is, where we can get down without having to go through the mines. I wouldn't want to go anywhere near there.
I am excellent and unparalleled at keeping secrets.
She is... She's like, very well. I suppose I have no choice but to trust you. Very well. And the group of you leave behind King Brightcrown. He stops you before you go, and he says, once Ilnoshra is out of sight, he's like, listen, so here's the thing. I really want this mine. I kind of need it. Like, the kingdom has pumpkins, and that's it. So if you're going to be my emissaries, you should probably know the truth, which is we don't got a lot of money, and this mine is really going to help us kind of get our footing. So really, I really need you to secure this mine. We can probably split it, but like I prefer to have the whole thing. So. What?
Let me ask you this. You're telling me you have no money, and you just doubled our pay.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is that we have to get this mine to get paid at all.
Well, I mean, it would be really useful if you got the mine.
Fine. I just start stomping off towards the way.
He's like, listen, just do whatever it takes to secure this mine. You secure this mine, and your contract's going to get paid. It's going to be great. You're going to be rich, and I'm going to tell everybody in the neighboring kingdoms to hire you. It's going to be fantastic. You don't do it, and you won't get paid, and I'm going to tell everybody you were rotten and awful, and your performance stinks. So there you go. So, You get me?
My eyes like kind of narrow down. It's like, you would tell people that our performance stinks, and I'm suddenly gonna stop being very friendly and just kind of maybe get a little bit intense looking, and then just gonna give him the intimidation stare.
It's a 16.
He's like, well, all right. Stinks is maybe a strong term, but I'm gonna recommend that people only pay you half.
I'm just saying, if you send us out there to do this, and we have the in our heads that you think you're bad mouthing our intimidate, that's a good way to get undead bards. Is all I'm saying. Undead bards that come back to eat goblin hearts.
That I don't want any of those either. So
you don't. No, it's really bad.
Listen, I don't trust any of these people that live below the ground. That it's unnatural, and so do whatever it takes to get me this mine. Okay, I really kind of need it, and
I kind of need this, man.
Yeah, I just saying here. I've been selling pumpkins, and let me tell you, it's getting pretty late in the year. These things aren't going to make it too much longer.
Have you perhaps thought about growing something else?
Or maybe gathering a little bit of nutmeg for you know what?
fellas, this isn't Kingmaker. We don't have to manage this kingdom for him. Let's just go get the mine.
But if you grow some wheat, get some flour, get some nutmeg, they can make a few other things.
Yeah.
Listen, if you happen to come upon a supplier of nutmeg, I'm interested. Is all I'm saying.
All right, get you a mine, get you a spice trade. Got it.
Yeah.
The spice must flow.
Whatever we can work out, I'm there for it. I'm there for it. Just give me that mine, though. I don't. Yeah. However that needs to work, just make that happen.
All right. Well, I'm gonna gather up my stuff, look one more time admiringly at how glorious my autograph looks on that piece of paper, and then I'm ready to go. Let's go to Koboldtown and get some kobold dances going.
All right. Well, you all make your way outside where Ilnoshra is outside, and she has put her cloak back on to cover herself up from the kind of brightness that is the kind of mid-afternoon now sun. It is a cloudy day. It's drizzling lightly. You're looking out over the pumpkin fields, and there is mist and fog rolling in. And as you follow Ilnoshra, she leads you back toward the mine, but heads further to the west. The mine is kind of north of the castle, and she's kind of leading you in that direction, but further to the west. And as you make your way through the misty pumpkin fields in this kind of bright but gloomy kind of day, you can't help but wonder, as you are making this trek deep beneath the earth, is this going to be the last time you see this guy again? It seems like this journey is set to take you deep, deep underground. And after about an hour of travel, you are on a different hill in the same kind of a different side of the same hill that contains the mine. And there, a little bit up the slope, is the entrance to a cave. Not much of an entrance. It's not really even as big as the mine entrance. It's really just more like a crack in the side of the mountain. And Ilnoshra is making her way straight toward it. She's like, "This is the way."
This is the way.
All right.
Is the way.
Before we step in the cave, Roark is going to take a nice long look at the sky for a beat or two, and breathe in the fresh air, the fresh outside air, and then dourly step inside the cave.
Before we step inside, I'm gonna toss Roark one of my many blue handkerchiefs and say, here's some blue to carry with you into the dark.
Oh,
Shensen.
Yeah, no worries. Sarah and Way will watch over you no matter where you're at.
I'll tuck it into my lapel or something.
Yeah, indeed. And Ilnoshra, as she kind of makes her way up to the cave entrance, she has to kind of even she has to kind of turn sideways and squeeze in through this crack. And she kind of looks up at the vaulted sky way up above with a bit of a scowl as she makes her way into the hill and the darkness that lies below. as you all follow, you have to kind of squeeze in through this crack. You probably, if you were traveling across the countryside, you would have thought this nothing more than a shadow in the hills facing. But here up close, you can tell that it is a crevasse that leads deeper into the ground. As you squeeze inside, the darkness swallows you, and the journey begins to take a turn into kind of dark, quiet, cramped caves. Unlike the mine up above, which had been opened and carved out to allow people to move or in and out, this appears to be more like a natural series of caverns and passageways that just wind their way deeper into the earth. And truth be told, it takes you like the rest of today to really just make your way into any passages that you don't have to crawl through. Ilnoshra seems at home in this environment, but for the rest of you, it's downright claustrophobic. Everything is tight and cramped, and there's been more than one occasion where each of you have gotten stuck in one way, shape, or form and had to kind of squeeze and back out and kind of wiggle through these tiny stone crevices that lead deeper and deeper into the darkness. Which ones of you have light?
I have light.
I mean, spell. I also have not lantern. I do have a torch.
Don't you have dancing lights though? Isn't dancing lights what we want?
I have that too.
I think we established that she had to like sustain it and stuff, but
yeah, that's the challenge. The challenge with dancing lights is that you have to spend one of your actions each round kind of keeping it going and directing the orbs of light. And if you don't, it just kind of fades away. So you can certainly use it now and again to like light up areas where the group kind of becomes separated for a time, and you can kind of use it as a patchwork system that way. But you probably can't keep it up and running all the time.
Yeah, I have torches if we don't want to use the spells or cantrips.
I'm fine with casting light on my staff at least. I pretty much, skull still on top of the staff, all kind of bound up in my staff and everything. So I pretty much cast light on the skull itself, as it's kind of like tied onto my staff and everything. Like, all right, well, go ahead. Is it
creepy undead green light?
What color? Chat, decide what color that light is. We're gonna stick with that. So whatever light chat, whatever color chat picks, that's what it'll be. And I'm just trying to lead everyone through the cave system. Like, come with here.
Yellow. No, yellow's good. Yellow is good. That's a good choice.
I'm assuming you're kind of sticking close to the middle then, Lauren, just so that your light is
around the middle-ish.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that works. It works well enough. Ilnoshra kind of stays in the front, mostly out of that light. She really doesn't like it. But once you're down here, she kind of takes off the overcloak, folds it up, puts it in her pack, and is now just, mostly crawling on hands and knees like the rest of you down deeper into into this cave system. After about several hours, it's now pretty late in the day, Ilnoshra comes upon a small cavernous area where it's a small natural chamber, and she kind of wanders into there and sits down and says, this is sufficient enough for us to get some rest before we push on. We probably have about another 6 or 7 hours of journey before we reach the Emathene Enclave.
Oh, good. I'm just gonna slops down on a rock or something that looks soft.
Yeah, nothing here is soft. It is the only thing that is an advantage to this space is that it's a little bigger. That allows you to all kind of gather in one space.
Yeah, the clicking and clocking of my backpack and all that other stuff. Put it down. Like, okay, well, I guess we'll camp out. Who's taking watch?
We should just probably split it up and share the duties.
Cool. I immediately go to sleep.
I'll go first. Because if you go first, then you get to sleep in.
Oh, well, that is true, yeah.
Also, I can play my violin and everybody will be soothed, right? Violins.
I mean, if you want, you can play your violin down here. It's not exactly got brilliant acoustics.
Yeah, well, if you play violin in like hostile territory, at least of violins.
Oh, good lord! All right, so
Get out of here.
So the group of you manages to bed down. Grisfeld does not make an appearance. He stays in his skull. You haven't really discussed about whether or not he's going to make an appearance yet. So he's playing hideout for the time being, and you kind of get rest as best you can. You set up watches and everything, and Il Nostra just kind of bundles up in the corner and passes out. You think. It's kind of hard to tell. Once she pulls that kind of dark gray cloak over her, it's kind of hard to make out where she begins and the wall ends. So she's just kind of hiding out in the back. But the rest of you are able to get some rest, and the period of sleep goes relatively uneventfully. I mean, there's some strange noises somewhere far off in the distance, but they don't seem to come bother your sleep. And there's another thing you quickly come to realize being this deep underground. There is like this weird sort of groaning and like grinding and grumbling of the ground itself as the earth above you warms and cools with the evening. There is this kind of echoing noise that just kind of assaults you now and again. It's not as quiet as you thought. In fact, between dripping water and these things sound almost like roars to the otherwise relative silence. The next morning, you all wake up and are able to regain all of your spells and get back your hit points and stuff, so you're all back to full.
Yay! I'm sure we will certainly not need all of our resources because this will be a very relaxing, non-violent trip, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
100%. They're all friendly down here.
So after Il Nostra gets up and after everyone does all their preparations, she eats a handful of mushrooms and what looks to be like some sort of hardtack from her pouch. And she, after finishing that up, she kind of dusts herself off, gathers herself together, and says, "Well, are we all ready to keep moving? We should be there by later on today."
Sounds good.
All right. Well, in just a few hours, we should reach the border of our domain. There will be a guard station there, and after that, we should be in easier to traverse tunnels.
Before we get there, what happens if something unexpected eats you? And is there like a password we can tell the guards so they won't shoot us with their eerie powers?
Shensen.
She looks at you and says, "If I get eaten, you should scurry back to the surface where it's safe."
It's not safe up the surface either.
I turn to Ilana and I look down at her like,
You've been marking our passageway with chalk the entire time, right?
Yes, of course.
Excellent. Good.
Did not mention that.
My cloak
Yes,
has
of
been
course.
unraveling silently as we've been walking.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yes, dear.
I'm just
Yes,
throwing you
of course we've been
curveballs,
doing that.
Jason. Don't.
Yeah. Did you mark the way?
Do you know the way?
No, we're doomed, guys. We have no way back.
Well, as long as we got a way forward, we've got a way onward.
I just know it is very deep and I cannot sense the earth, so we'll just keep walking up until I can find it again. We'll be fine.
There we go.
So you pack up, and Il Nostra continues to lead the way, and you travel for about another 2 hours, much like it was yesterday, through narrow crevasses. But as you get going, some of the passageways actually start opening up a bit. And at about the end of the 2 hours, you're actually all walking, and there is a kind of, it looks like it might have been at one point in time some sort of lava tube or something, or maybe some sort of underground river went through this area. But there's a wide enough passage that all of you can kind of travel down. Not quite side by side, but, single file in most places, here and there, two abreast. And you make your way down, and Il Nostra says, up ahead is the guard post. And let me make sure I have tokens for everyone.
Tokens, huh?
For
Looks
reasons.
like the virtual tabletop version of the GMs just going along, then suddenly they pick up the bestiary and start looking through it. No reason.
I just need to look up something real quick.
Don't worry about it.
Just,
Hopefully this is just a...
Hey, how
Put a
close
map
does
down.
my dark blue cloak look to the other cloaks? Like, if I pull it up over my head, what if somebody just glanced at me, think I'm one of them?
Ooh.
Maybe. That is.
No, keep my head
possible.
down, go about my business, act like I belong there. Nobody looks too closely at me.
I mean, you're with a Tengu, a Shensen, and a mad wizard, so...
I'm putting this information away for later.
I like how you set my my name up as my ancestry. That's cute.
You're a Shensen. You're the only one in existence.
Yay! No competition.
The wonderful thing about Shensions is Shensions are a wonderful thing.
Yay! I just hope that this is just is a lava tube or like an old riverbed that we're crawling through, and not like a worm squirm. You guys know about worm squirms, right?
Yeah, there's like
Worm
cuddle struggles or
squirms?
something. That's disgusting.
Yeah, worm
No.
squirms. Down here, the worms get really big, and they dig around, and they leave tunnels, and the tunnels are about this size, and they just barely fit into them. And when they come back, they tend to get really kind of territorial when they see creatures crawling around, basically crawling around inside their trails and tracks. So, yeah, they kind of squirm back in here every once in a while and just kind of scoop everything up. But I'm sure we're fine. I'm sure it's a really old worm
You would be
squirm.
marvelous at ghost stories around the fire.
Ooh.
So Shensen, and
I kind of,
Yes.
as we're journeying on and stuff like that, and I have like my medieval MRE and I'm snacking out of it, then I'm just like,
Shensen, I never really got to learn more about you, unfortunately. I just want to tell you, you seem to be very active, always wanting to put on a good performance. Exactly where you might be from. I mean, it's from wherever you are to the middle of the earth. It's quite a difference now.
That's a semi-complicated story, depending upon how far back you're asking. But the easy solution is I'm from the west.
What part of the west?
Sort of the Cheliax part of the west.
oh. Well, it's nice talking to you, Shen. I'll just go back to Lana. How's it going, Lana?
So, as you're making this discussion, the group of you comes up to what appears to be a rather large crevasse.
A crevasse.
The journey leads you up to this kind of large crevasse that leads down into darkness, and Ilnoshra kind of looks very confused. She stops and turns around to look at the group of you behind her and says, "Something's not right.
Uh-oh.
This bridge
What's
should
going
be
on?"
manned." And you look out across the way and you see a couple things. First of all, there is a bridge, and you can kind of make it out on the map here because it's up. And it's a tall bridge, right? It looks like a drawbridge, basically, designed to kind of cover this gap. But it's currently up and isn't something that you can cross. On the other side, the tunnel beyond is emitting its own kind of pale purplish light that looks like it comes from some crystals embedded in the wall that apparently have some sort of faint glow. That's why you can see some light from the other side there. And Ilnoshra looks back at you and says, "There should be guards here manning this checkpoint. This is the border of our lands, and this should be the way in."
Was this the way that you, when you came up to visit us, was this the way you took?
Yes.
So that was only a couple days ago, right?
That was only 2 days ago.
Huh.
I'm gonna walk up to the edge, and can I roll perception, see what I can see?
Sure.
18. What do my halfling eyes see?
So, you take a good look around, and to be honest, your halfling eyes are not too great here in this darkness. But taking a look around, to the kind of west of you, the crevasse kind of slowly tapers off, and you think it might end up in that direction. It's kind of really hard to see. It's very dark. The other direction, it looks like this crevasse just continues off into the deep darkness. The crevasse itself looks like it's got to be 40 or 50 feet deep. It is like a fault shift within the earth. So falling down there would be very, very bad.
I'm gonna take a step back.
Yeah. And, it's, at least, 20 to 25 feet across, depending on where you're trying to go. So it's quite a distance.
Huh.
I step forward.
I'm gonna.
No, go ahead.
Is there a handle on the other side?
It does look like there is a handle. And actually, so interestingly enough, as Lauren kind of moves forward a bit and the light starts spilling around the rock wall down towards the end of the crevasse, up toward this end, up in this part of the there we are, up in this end of the the crevasse, there is it looks like from somewhere far up above there's water feeding enough so that this end of it is kind of filled with long hanging plant vines that are kind of all up in this area up in here.
So we could probably use those to climb down into the chasm?
They don't look like they go all the way down, but if you did climb down them, you might only have a 10-foot fall, but you don't know how you would get back up.
More to the
I
point.
have the spear rope.
We could do lasso the lever from this side and kind of yank it down to drop the bridge over.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes. Anybody else have rope?
Yes, I have rope.
Let's see here. Rope. I've got a violin. I've got holy symbol. I've got a soap. Will soap help? I don't have any rope. I have a whip.
I ask our.
I get my whip out and whip it a couple times.
I asked our small companion, go
I assume there would be a lever or something at the very end of that bridge there that needs to be pulled, and I assume that mechanism brings down the bridge, correct?
She wanders over here and points to a spot on the far side, and she says, "That is the lever, but I should warn you, there is a latch. It's not just, you don't just pull it. You have to undo the latch. I'm not sure how we're going to accomplish that from this side. There are other ways, but they would take days of us traveling to get there."
Well, we could string a rope and tightrope walk over it. That's an option.
If we could get someone across.
I could help with that. Roark, remember that tripwire thing that you've done in the past in one of the shows?
Yes.
Pretty much us against the Ogre King.
Yes.
And, excuse me. Let me get in your way there, Miss, my companion, small one. And there you are. Okay. Let me see your rope, Roark.
I give him my rope. My 50 feet of rope.
All right, do that. Pretty much tie it to. I tie one end basically on our end on a rock or something, or a stalagmite or whatever. That's kind of
stalactites. They're made of limestone. They're
kind of
solid-ish.
I try to find a solid rock, tie it on there. Ask Roark to help me tie it because I'm a wizard, and then I tie another piece to a rock, and I just telekinetic projectile just hit on the other side, hoping to shoot it across. At basically another a latch. It's a big enough rock to where, for the weight limit. Trying to help you with what I'm doing. I'm trying to shoot it in between rocks that are kind of jutting up, kind of like how a slingshot is, and jam the rock past it and then pull it so it can get some, so when I pull it, it won't immediately slip out kind of deal.
So you're trying to use the rock as a grappling hook.
Yeah, basically. A grappling hook, basically.
Yeah.
I'm going to regard this with skepticism, but curiosity.
So you go firing the rock across. Go ahead and make me an attack roll.
You want to just do telekinetic projectile, or?
Yeah, do that.
Okay. That is a 27 natural 20.
What the hell?
Where were those whenever I needed them?
Comes around.
So everything's looking up, Lord, fellas.
Just.
All right. Well, you fire off a rock that goes flying across the way to there, lodging itself in the space. It is now kind of, there's a rope going from one side to the other. It looks mostly sturdy, but the rock goes zooming over there, slams into the wall, and makes this loud, incredibly noisy clatter. And as it does so, the vines down at the far end of the chamber suddenly like explode is the wrong word, but they suddenly blow out of the way as emerging out of the vines as it was roosting in there is
it a rooster?
Is a giant bat.
Oh, no.
This is going to get tangled. I am immediately concerned about the bat becoming tangled in my hair.
That is a serious concern.
Small? Is he my sized? He is definitely an animal.
He is, 4 times as big as you.
I'll get my initiative ready. It's
a good call. The bat comes exploding out of the vines, looking very perturbed at all of the noise and ruckus that you have made.
Wild empathy. Can I make my case and apologize and ask to go about our way?
Well, we'll see. Once you get a turn, we'll certainly find out.
Seeing everyone's initiative rolls, I think I used up my critical for all of our terrible initiative rolls.
I'm going to use my hero point to try to load that again.
Are you sure?
Ooh!
There we go.
Well, you got a 20.
That is a good use of hero point to get druid power out in front of the mean bat.
Oh, funny enough, we're now tied. Look at that.
Who has a higher dex?
No,
matter.
monsters go first.
Monsters go first now. That's how that works.
Oh, okay.
I think we both rolled a 20, did we?
We
Yes, we did.
did.
Look at that. Yeah.
Oh, you rolled a 15. What are you talking about? You have a plus 11.
What?
Oh, you're right. Okay, yeah, never mind. I was like, wow, I rolled really well. Oh, okay.
Monsters, cheaters, losers, weepers.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm gonna ride this bat across the
I want you to get on the tripwire and then basically jump on the bat.
I just realized
I want to see.
he's 4
I want to
times
see a
bigger than
Tengu
me.
on a bat. That is just about the most awesome, glorious thing I can think of at this moment. Tengu riding a bat.
We'll find out here in just a moment because the bat's going first.
Good.
It in a fury, based on all the noise that just happened, comes flying out of here. Let's see, what's its speed? There it is.
A lot.
So let's go ahead.
He big mad.
Let's go ahead and measure that.
He's an angry boy.
Yeah, 30 feet. Look at that. Okay. He's gonna come
get me.
flying up here.
Oh, my hair.
He goes zooming up there, and after flying there, he is going to attempt to bite you.
Who's you?
That would be you, Lorne,
No.
as the source of all the noise. But he's going to miss, and with his third and final action, he's going to attempt to thrash you with a wing. That is -4,
10.
so that's going to be an 18.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Take 10 points of damage because I keep rolling max.
Yeah,
I'm hurting,
flapped
boys.
hard.
Yeah, that wing slammed right into your face.
I just turn around like, oh, bat,
Bam! And just terrorize across the front.
All right, that is the bat's turn. Ilana, this bat looks very angry.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cast guidance on myself. Give me a plus. That works, right? I can do that?
I
Let's
believe
check.
so, yes.
Okay, to give me a +1 when dealing with this guy. I'm going to run up to the edge. I'm sorry, friend. I apologize for waking you from your sleep. We are just trying to pass through, and the sooner you let us go, the sooner we'll be gone, and we'll let you get back to your rest.
All right, so you're going to attempt some really quick, what do you have? You have animal empathy, right?
Diplomacy. It's, the wild empathy is my druid feat.
Ah. All right, you can use diplomacy to make an impression. Okay, well, so the only problem is making an impression does take a whole minute. So it's kind of really hard to use in the middle of a fight. It's better if you had detected the bat beforehand, but your perception check was not quite enough, I'm afraid. So So I'll let you rewind back the guidance if you want and do something else entirely. That's up to you.
Heck.
Yeah. Sorry.
We slaughter things here, Ilana.
Well, unfortunately, no one spotted the bat early enough for that to work. It would have worked had someone spotted it first, but the perception check was not high enough, I'm afraid.
Oh, my first thought is to hit it with Tanglefoot and knock it out of the air.
Ooh, Tangle Wing.
Oh,
Tangle.
No.
That's an 18.
18. Plus the guidance, 19.
That is going to hit. So it is, let's see, that is going to entangle it a bit. And we'll go ahead and put this net icon on there to indicate that it has been entangled. So it's going to take a penalty to its speed as the goo is like all over its wings and stuff. And now it's kind of flapping about, desperately trying to keep itself in the air. That is going to slow it down, but it is not quite immobilized by that. You do still have one action remaining.
Tanglefoot is a 2-action spell, and then I use guidance, which was 1 action. I think I am out.
Oh, you are out, correct. Next up,
Being honest, getting me some.
The chat would like to request the guards to come back again. All right, Shensen, it is.
We all would.
Shensen, it is your turn. You get to act again.
All right.
What would you like to do?
I noticed that Ilana seemed to want to make friends with the bat, and I have guilt about even thinking about stabbing it with my sword. So I'm going to try to use a not as violent, but much more pretty way to handle it. I'm going to use color spray to blast the bat with a cone of sparkles and rainbows and like little pixie wings and moth dust, and it's all going to come spiraling out and just all over it.
All right, so you are hitting me with a blast of color and light, of which I do not have a good special effect. Okay, so we'll go. Here comes the will save.
Yay!
Oh, come on!
That's a natural 1. That is a natural 1.
Oh, God. Do I have a villain point left, right?
No. No, you have none. You have absolutely none of them. You have to.
Oh, I do. All right, we'll burn it then.
You have
all
to.
Right.
You have to.
Yeah, all right.
He's got 1 now.
Well, I'm now down to 1. It is going to burn that villain point.
You made my sparkles less fancy.
Yes, thank you, chat. Thank you for fancying the spark. I don't know. All right, so that is going to be a success. So it is dazzled for 1 round.
I get out my scimitar. Green. Actually, no. Instead of getting out my scimitar, I'm going to start doing my. I assume my scimitar is probably already out because I'm not going to wander around the Darklands like unarmed. But I am going to inspire courage on everybody, assuming that everybody else is going to be more violent than my sparkles. But dazzled is pretty good.
Yeah, no, dazzled ain't nothing. All right, so you finish up your turn, and Roark, it is up to you. This bat is right in front of you.
Oh yes. I guess I will. I'm gonna attack it with the short sword. I'm just gonna take a couple.
All right, go right ahead.
Yeah, so I just sort of go a bat.
Very good.
And then you have a swingy swing, and it goes.
Yeah, here it comes.
Not good.
Not so good.
Not so good. I will just go let that ride and roll.
All right. Make a second attack.
Please forgive us, Shaggy, if you hear him coming out ever so often. It's just internet stuff.
Yeah. That's with my penalty, so it's a 20 to hit.
Oh, that is certainly a hit. Your blade bites into the bat, and it spends its reaction to wing thrash. Blade cuts into the bat, and it flaps its wings at you furiously, and it is going to make 2 wing strikes, 1 against you and 1 against Shensen.
Even though I gave him a bard bonus and it's
2.
actually 6. Oh wait, no.
No,
I
that's in
guess
there.
that makes sense. Oh, okay, that's right. Holy moly!
That'll do it, Chief.
Yes,
That'll hit me.
That is certainly going to hit Roark for 6. And then I'm going to take the other one against Shensen, and that one's going to miss.
Yeah. Do a fancy dodge.
Yeah. So that was the bat's turn. No, so that was the bat's reaction. Roark, are you out of actions?
I'm gonna raise my.
Gotcha. Okay.
Does the bat being dazzled have any impact on that attack?
No, not in a way that's going to matter. Lorne, it is now your turn.
All right, it's time to bring this horrible rat flying thing down.
I cast basically shocking grasp at it. And wait a minute, I'm going to use a hero point.
Are you?
Yes, because I'm pretty sure that's not going to hit. So shocking grasp once more. There we go. That's an 18 plus bard bonus.
An 18 is going to hit, and you know what? Actually, thanks for the reminder, James. I actually have to roll for the dazzled. Technically, you are all concealed. So let me go ahead and bounce that die.
I shall wait patiently to see the
Yeah.
bat's demise.
Dazzle's one of those things that, like, in first edition Pathfinder, was like,
Does nothing.
whatever.
Yeah.
Then second edition, it's like, oh, geez.
Oh, yeah. No, that really sucks. As a matter of fact, you do not take any damage.
Ooh, excellent.
Roark. That attack misses because of the dazzle.
Yay!
All right, so that shocking grass, the shocking grass does hit, and that is going to do what? 5 points of damage?
6 points with the bard thing, I believe.
With the bard. All right.
Thank you, bard.
All
And with
right.
that, my last action, bam,
Yeah.
shield, and then I cower in fear to be killed.
Well, fair enough, because it is the bat's turn. The bat is wounded, but it is going to continue the fight. It is going to attempt to bite Lorne, because you just shocked it. Here it comes. Oh, armor class 24.
It's still dazzled, though, right?
It is still dazzled. Let's roll that.
It was almost a crit. So that hits.
Well, let's go ahead and roll the conceal check and see how that goes. Oh, come on!
Yes.
All right, so don't take any damage. How about that?
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, so would have been obliterated.
Well, we'll do that instead.
No.
So, and then it's going to attempt to thrash you with a wing.
That'll do it, Chief.
Well, will it? I don't know anymore. Because
It's got all sparkles in its eyes.
yeah. That one will hit. Take 5 points of damage.
I'm down, boys. Just down.
Would you like to? You can use the shield to shield block.
Oh yeah, can I? Yeah, I forgot completely about that. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
I'll
that's
block
gonna-
all of that.
Well, I think it's going to protect you
it's
for
for one,
4,
yeah.
I think. Or is it 1?
It
No.
is. I can tell you here in like a couple seconds when I click shield. Hardest
What
of 5.
kind of shield
Hardness
is
5.
God,
Oh, there
it's
it
a
is.
shield
Yeah.
that can, like, yeah.
Hardness 1. What are you holding up? A piece of paper?
I know. It's like,
all right.
found some crate paper in my backpack. Will that help?
And then with its final action, it's going to attempt to wing thrash. Let's go with Roark. No, nowhere near.
I was I was waiting for it to be a 20.
Nah, nowhere close. All right, that is the end of the bat's turn. Ilana,
I am.
It is your action.
I'm having an internal argument because it is attacking us, but it is a wild animal, and we did get into its space. Dancing lights maybe blind it, but we've already dazzled it. I'm gonna have to use my crossbow.
All
Yeah,
right.
this is like those nature shows whenever you see, like, you know, like the halfling shooting down the giant bat. It's all natural. It's legit.
Oh, it's not too very well. I missed.
Yes, I'm afraid you did. Yeah. All right.
You have a point. You have a point.
I have a point. Am I going to use that point?
That's a good question.
No.
That's a fine question.
Those points do help from dying, so
I mean, does anybody need help from dying right now?
not yet.
Nope, then I'm fine.
Okay.
Do you need to be stabilized?
So, one thing I did forget, and I'll let you finish out your turn here, Ilana, but Ilnoshra does get to go. I forgot to put her in the initiative order.
Help us, NPC! Become the plot armor guards that we pray for! Just shoot the bat out of the sky! That's not, well, that is helping. I saw the 12 and panicked.
All right. So that is a 21 to hit. Ilnoshra breaks out a sling and throws the rock at the bat, and it's going to do 3 points of damage.
4 points.
Actually, that'll be 4. Yeah, we got it. All right, there we are. Okay, the bat looks pretty badly hurt, but Ilnoshra is going to reload, and that's going to be the end of her turn. Ilana just went. Shensen, it is now your turn.
All right. So the gloves come off. I start stabbing. I'm going to continue the bard song first, and then I will stab.
Oh!
Whoa, that's a natural 20.
Yeah, this scimitar works pretty good. So
Yeah,
that's
right.
4 damage, doubled up to 8.
All right. The scimitar flashes out, slicing through like bat membrane and hacking into its body. The bat looks very badly hurt now.
And then I will do it again. And so that is a 21. No, it's not sweeping, so it's a 20 minus 5. So that's just a 15.
15 is not going to be enough, I'm afraid. Your scimitar comes up short as the bat is kind of dancing out of the way.
But since we are only 5 minutes away from a climactic cliffhanger, I'm going to spend my lingering hero point and roll again.
Sure.
And it didn't work.
Oh,
Never mind.
No, that did not work. Yeah.
I need another hero point, chat. Help!
Well, you can't roll again on the same roll. So.
Oh, no, I can when I'll need it when the bat tries to vengeance bite my throat out.
Well, that's fair. Vengeance bite. That is a special bat ability. Let me double check.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the bat will spend its reaction after being hit, and will wing thrash. One will go to Shensen. Here we go.
Ow.
Take 6.
Oh.
The other will go at Roark. Let's see. Is 17 going to hit?
Nope, that's gonna miss. I dodge out of the way.
Ah, just barely. All right. Shensen, are you out of actions?
I am out of actions unless I cheat.
Oh, all right. Well, in that case, Roark, it's your turn.
Are you still singing, James?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I will
Yeah, that's why there was only
flash
2
out with the short. There.
Oh,
I'm gonna-
not good enough.
I'm gonna. Sorry, I keep forgetting to hold the button down when I'm pressing the talk. I'm going to take another attack. Leave that one standing.
All right, go right ahead. No,
No, so bad.
no,
You got a
bad.
point.
failure.
You got a point.
It's just a bat.
It is just a bat. All right.
And then I raise my buckler.
Raise your
Yeah,
buckler. Very good.
Yeah,
Lauren.
Rourke's just not afraid of it because he doesn't have hair for it to get tangled in.
Lauren, you are the last one to act. What would you like to do?
Oh, it's all on me now, huh? Well, here's my second spell slot. You're going down, bat. This is going to be a good roll. It's going to be an amazing roll. Nothing's going to go wrong at all. I have the power on chat on my side. That's not going to be a hit. And chat did give me a point. So I'm going to spend that point on this amazing roll that chat enhanced. And that's the same roll. Chat, come on, man. I trusted you, and you just
Don't you blame this on the chat?
Oh, it's chat's fault.
Why do you
Chat bring the point.
It's not chat's fault.
You
Roll
still
20's
have
fault. You blame it on
you
roll
still-
20.
you still have one action left. You cannot cast shield because you used it to block.
Yep. That's the deal. You know what I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
It's like I staff, look at the skull, and I'm like, don't worry, I'm not going to use your bit. I flip it around, and I basically hit it on the bottom side of the staff. It's not the skull end.
All right.
That's a 19. This is two-handed as well.
So, unfortunately, the shocking grasp does count as an attack.
Yeah.
So, we'll take the multiple attack penalty, which drops
Okay, that's
it down
fine.
to
That's fine.
which is not going to be enough.
No.
All right.
Bard bonus,
Bottom of
though?
the order. Bottom of the order. You get the bard bonus, but it's not enough.
Okay.
Bottom of the order, Il Nostra is going to fire her sling. Here we go. That will hit.
It died,
So-
didn't it? It died, didn't it? Just tell me. Just,
Yes.
You were fired.
Oh.
Just get out of here.
So,
Yay!
the sling bullet comes flying out of the air, slamming into the bat, and its wings fold up around it, and it tumbles down into the deep. The bat is dead.
Sorry, Ilana. I didn't mean to kill the animal. Well, I didn't kill it, but I helped, I guess.
I'm gonna be on my knees at the edge of the cliff, just kind of looking down into it. Sadly.
Well, think of all of like the bugs and the mold and everything, that all the other nature things. The scavengers are going to have a banquet down there.
I do suppose life must go on.
It's
it does find a way.
It's the
Il
Circle
Nostra.
of life. I look at a lot of dead in the eyes, and I go, don't worry, it's the circle of life. And then I look down and where the bat fell went. All right, good. Let's get going.
Il Nostra says, kind of comes up to you and with kind of a sneer is just like, oh, don't worry, there's plenty of them down here. They are vermin.
See?
Oh.
Now-
I just look her in the eyes silently.
We still have to figure
And
out
I
how to
thought
get
you were
across. Who's going to risk that? And she points at the tightrope.
I
I
will, but not
bow
until next
graciously.
session when I get more hero points.
No. Unless Jason, you want us to do it now?
Well, I want someone to decide who's going to walk out there on the tightrope wire.
It's me.
Yeah.
Yay!
That was real bad.
No!
All right.
This is what
As
I'll
you-
spend a hero point on.
As you, yeah.
This is what I'll
Wait,
spend
wait,
on
let me
next
cast guidance on you first.
No, it's too late. It's too late.
No.
He's already made the
no.
roll.
No, it's fine. Oh yeah, no, it's fair. Yeah.
Ugh.
There we go.
So Roark begins delicately, carefully walking out on this wire, crossing out over the gulf, and we will see you all next week as we tune in to see
wait.
whether or not the rope holds.
Yeah, there we go.
One funny thing though, I get so impressed. I can do that too, and I get a 14.
my God.
No, what? Why?
What?
That doesn't happen.
No.
All right. Roark begins
Okay.
crossing out over the wire, over the Black Gulf, and we will see you all next week as we tune in to find out whether or not this rope is going to hold and whether or not our heroes are going to get across this gulf. Before we go, why don't I throw it around the horn and let everybody tell folks where they can find you on social media. We'll start with you, James.
Cool. I'm James Jacobs. I'm the creative director for Pathfinder. You can hit me up with whatever questions you want over on the Ask James thread, James Jacobs thread on Paizo.com.
All right, guys, I'm Maryssa Marie. I am your broken-hearted druid and web content
Aw.
manager over at Paizo. You can find me at Maryssa Marie on Twitter, Instagram, anywhere else you're looking.
I'm Jason Keeley. I'm your tightrope balancing Tengu swashbuckler. You can find me on Twitter at Herzwesten, HERZWESTEN, and check out some puzzles that I made for free at herzwesten.itch.io.
And I'm Peyton Smith. I'm the social media producer and Twitch maestro over here at Paizo. I am playing Lawn Bonds, and you can find me at everything at Zoran the Bear, ZORANTHEBEAR. And thank you so much, Jason. This has been a fantastic adventure so far.
Yeah, it really has been a lot of fun. I am Jason Bulmahn. I am your host and game master. You can find me on all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, at /Jason Bulmahn. That's JASONBULMAHN. Thank you for watching, everybody. Make sure to tune in next week at 2 p.m. for another exciting installment of Band of Bravos. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.